The Thought Lab.
Mr. Brandon Katz,
Mr. Huntley,
welcome to the Thought Lab podcast.
thanks so much for having me, man.
Dude, what an absolute pleasure. We're trying to get you on for about 4 weeks, and then unfortunately we had a little studio booking issue, and you were off in Cape Town, but it is such a pleasure to finally have you here, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm for it. Excited.
Good. So like I was saying before we just got started, one go, dude, that's it.
One go, yeah.
That's it. I
No
don't
filtering.
believe, Brandon, I don't believe in the idea of cutting out things because we fucked up or we made a little faux pas. I don't believe in the authenticity of that. I think it's fake. And what I'm trying to do here is to showcase awesome South Africans, right? Authentically.
Yeah.
Done and dusted. Like I was saying to you, Brandon Orette, mid-podcast, fucked off and went to the toilet. And I was stuck. I was like, so...
Talking to yourself.
Yeah. I had a list of all these movies he had done, right?
Start talking about the benefits of going to the toilet and stuff.
So I had a list of all these movies he had done. So I started like reading through them, because it is incredible what he's done. I mean, a lot of people don't know it. I walked back, he's like, yes, nobody knows that. That's fucking fantastic. and off we went.
That's legend.
It is, though. It is too much. So we were talking about a mutual acquaintance of ours, Mr. Brandon Katz, the MMA fighter, who you got confused with at a job.
Yeah, I literally thought I was him. You know, guys are really excited. You know, they're big into MMA. At my, especially the RT guys. I don't know, RT guys are
RT guys in MMA, dude.
Especially the Salesforce developers. It's like something in them. You know, like. Really? So they're all like amped up. You know, Brendan Katz is joining, and then they're like pitched up, and they're just like. Yeah, he looks a little bit different, but it's all, he doesn't have the cauliflower ears, he just doesn't look scary, and but, whatever, you know.
And you've actually had a class with him, you said.
Yeah, I've done some fighting with him. I actually used to get street cred for him, you know, like after he did a fight, I'd actually like sometimes get like messages like, you know,
hey, well done, bro.
Good, bro. I was like,
really
sweet, you know,
free street cred.
Free street cred, yeah.
Didn't you say to me when we first started speaking that you did a little bit of jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so
Gracie
I got
Barra
in jiu-jitsu, yeah, Gracie Barra Lover.
Okay.
Just a
good mates of mine.
Cool bunch of guys, you know, it's just shoulders,
cool.
no egos and everything. I mean, I got into jiu-jitsu in like a really weird way, kind of embarrassed to say it, you know.
Okay.
Like,
tell me the story.
I started watching like UFC, and I was big into like Brock Lesnar, which is embarrassing, but
it's fucking embarrassing.
He was just this beast of a dude, and you know, just like smashing everyone. And I started like looking more into UFC, you know, like I noticed, you know, obviously initially when it came out, it was this mixed martial arts, and they'd have a jiu-jitsu dude, and they'd have a boxing guy, and I just saw those jiu-jitsu guys are just like dominating, you know, what is it, the original jiu-jitsu guys just killing it the first 5 times. I was like, geez, I got to like try this sport, there's got to be something in it, you know. And yeah, I mean, I didn't realize how technical it is, you know. Guys are kind of showing you like, all right, this is the move, and I'll do like a 6-step move, and I'm like shocking at like remembering this stuff, you know. So I was just
Bruce, you and every other white belt out there, hey? Just remember that.
Hey, white belt 2 stripes.
Hey, my buddy.
Yeah, no, I'm getting there,
dude. So you still actively train now when you can?
So I got engaged and then married.
Okay.
So before the marriage, the wife's like, you're not allowed to do this, because I always used to pitch back like with like bruises and like
because you have soft skin when you first start.
Yeah, no,
but that eventually
your hands
goes
are
away.
Sore, everything's. But I mean, yeah, that eventually goes away. She's like, I'm gonna just stop it for a while. So I kind of put it on the back burner.
And now you haven't,
you know?
You haven't got back in.
Yeah, I mean, get it back. You know, I do them like every now and then, kind of thing. But next year I'm gonna.
You need to set a goal.
Push hard back
purple belt, not blue belt, dude. Blue belt's a bad belt. Okay.
Bad belt.
Bad belt.
Is that just...
people make blue belts their goals.
Yeah.
And then essentially what happens is they reach their goal, this ultimate blue belt goal.
Yeah.
And then what? Then they quit.
Yeah.
Make purple belt your goal. So the fall off rate at blue belt is high. The fall off rate decreases. So there's a 75% chance that you'll get your black belt at purple belt level.
Right, yeah.
So get to purple belt, then you're a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like any purple belt is a motherfucker, right?
Yeah. No, I've lost 2 girls.
I've lost 2 girls who are purple belts, right? Don't even stress about it, dude.
Yeah.
So how cool, man. I dig the fact that, I called you up sort of out of the blue, and I was like, I love your story. Let's go on the podcast, start chatting. And then you're like, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
How fantastic, man.
Pics, I saw you doing jiu-jitsu. I'm like, it's like the Joe Rogan of SA, you know?
From your lips to God's ears one day, right? I'll have a 10th of his listeners. Because if I have a 10th of his listeners in South Africa, I fucking made it.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. When you think podcast, you think Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
You know?
Yeah. He's in my opinion, the biggest. I mean, over 1 billion downloads.
Yeah.
Yeah, over 1 billion downloads.
mean,
and what he's done, single-handedly done for jiu-jitsu is ridiculous.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's just awesome.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm a bit of a fanboy.
Yeah. No, he's cool.
Dude, my favorite podcast from him was a podcast recently that he had, of course, with Elon Musk. Good, great. Have you listened to
I
it?
didn't check that. I would love to actually see it.
He's such a freak, eh? Elon Musk is such a freak.
Yeah. Don't know if you've read his book. No.
No, I haven't. Should I?
Crazy, eh?
Really?
It's like whatever his decision is, it's like, as long as this gets me to Mars, if it doesn't, I'm not really interested. You know, that's like that's his mindset. He like allocates, all right, 3 hours to like girlfriend time. You know, that's how much I allocate per week.
Yeah.
It's just hardcore.
Wow, dude. But look at what he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, on the podcast, they were discussing the fact that, I don't know if you know of a psychologist called Jordan B. Peterson.
No.
Okay,
Don't think
so he, very big at the moment, massive, doing talks all over the show. He's one of my heroes. I just absolutely adore the man.
Yeah.
And so he's doing a Q&A the other day on his podcast, and one of the questions were, would you do a podcast with Elon Musk? And he was like, yes, because it is a phenom who can do one thing that shouldn't be done. It is an absolute freak who can do 4 or 5 things that shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know the most fascinating thing. You know he's got the Boring Company.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Boring Company started off like this: we'll do one hat.
It's a terrible name anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
Once you know what the boring is.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a boring company, but it's
The Boring. Yeah. But so they started off with one product, a hat.
a hat.
A hat. That was their first product.
Okay.
Right.
Good
And
start.
then they did a single run of hats, and so it sold like a fucking hundreds of millions of these hats.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Second product, flamethrower.
Oh yeah, saw that.
Yeah. That's his product.
only him,
Now
yeah.
it's done. Now it's finished. Now you can't get that. So he's
Yeah.
like, what's your neck pose? Like, I don't know. Something will come to me. He's a freak.
Yeah.
He really is. But I mean, what a great South African.
Yeah. You need guys like him. I mean, he's not someone I'd never invest in like
No.
Tesla. But I mean, I love the fact that other guys do invest in it because, you know,
Why
I mean, they're going
wouldn't
to
you?
lose all their money, but he's going to create something
Wait,
amazing
do you
and
think
spin off
so?
it. Yeah.
Why?
He's just, I don't think he's not in it for the money.
No, he's not in it
He's
for the
definitely
money.
not in it for the money. You
No.
know, he just wants to change the world. He wants to go to Mars, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't know, it's like one of the most shorted stock in the world, and, you know, everyone's like kind of lost so much money in shorting him, but it's just, yeah, I just don't see, I'd rather invest in these space travel type companies.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
SpaceX.
that's where there's more like potential, you know. I mean, Tesla, I think he's developing amazing tech that Toyota and all the big boys are going to kind of take over eventually. That's kind of how I feel
I've
it.
got you.
I mean,
I've got you.
I could be wrong, but I mean, I just love the fact you need guys like him in the world.
Yes.
Without him, we would be like,
Well, you need
No way.
innovators.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this
And
because
extreme innovators.
Extreme innovators. Because
True.
from what I understand, and God, I stand to be corrected, but from what I understand, he's what would be referred to as an extroverted thinker, so choleric, right?
Yeah.
In the temperamental management, and he's a complete narcissist.
yeah,
And he's a narcissistic CEO. Okay. So was Steve Jobs. The world needs narcissistic CEOs because these are the
Yeah.
guys that will drive regardless.
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need those dudes.
I hope he does well just because just because.
Yeah, no, I'd love it. I mean, I love the fact that guys are investing.
So on the podcast with Joe Rogan, right? So Joe Rogan asks him a question. So he does this. He goes like pauses, and then he pauses longer. So it becomes this almost like an uncomfortable silence. Boom, and he starts speaking, and then it's just rattle. So it's very poised, very calculated, very. The only thing that fucking irritated me massively about that podcast is, if you've watched it, because I have, is everybody made such a scene of him smoking a joint. Okay, what he did was he took one drag, bro, and he puffed it, it was a bit gay.
Yeah,
Okay, so he literally like puffed it,
Yeah.
and then he's like, oh, okay, well it's legal, and he gave it back. And there's one photo of him, obviously with a joint in his mouth and the smoke, and that's it. He's a stoner.
actually, until share price goes
Fucking
down.
share price goes down, everything tits up, belly up. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, watch it. He didn't even. I don't even know if he inhaled.
Yeah,
I think he's just like,
the press love it.
they do, don't they?
Yeah,
But I have a love-hate relationship with the press, Brandon. Like, seriously, do I agree to the nth degree that we need the press because the press hold certain people accountable. But also, they are largely directed by us as consumers. And what do we want? Death, destruction, mayhem, chaos.
yeah. That's what sells. Yeah,
That's what sells, dude.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get that we need the press, but simultaneously the sensationalism is killing me.
Yeah.
Absolutely killing me. And I think it's dividing the country in a bad way.
Yeah. I mean, one of the guys I love is Carte Blanche.
Yeah.
I mean, without Carte Blanche, I think South Africa has so many issues. These guys like solve stuff, you know.
Yeah.
They give it to us and we're like, no, shit,
Yeah.
you know, and the next week they've sorted stuff out, you know. So
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, yeah, when it comes to press, it is, yeah, you want to, Oaks want to see like this massive car crash and this, and no one wants to know the good stuff. And
yeah, it's so it's so true.
Sells.
Another thing, and I mean, we mentioned this when we were talking earlier, is I've had quite a few comedians on the podcast, and I really, really, really hold a special place in my heart for the right kind of comedian. Look, first of all, I love what they do because I think tough job, man. Respect what they do, admire what they do, love what they do.
Yeah.
But you take somebody like say John Flismus, right? Man, he'll hold you to task. So the comedians almost play the part of court jester.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They get to look at the king and go, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
That's why I love comedians so much, because they'll just, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They have an artistic license, and then literally they have that artistic license to go and say what all of us are thinking.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And the good acts are geniuses, hey?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Michael McIntyre, I mean, just the way he kind of, you know, just expresses stuff. He can take like things that you're so used to, you know, he'll talk about normal stuff. And if you've seen his skit on like wine, you know, where he goes about the whole like tasting it.
No, I haven't.
But he just executes it amazingly. He just talk about stuff that everyone knows and everyone thinks of and everyone does. And he just kind of brings it out there. You know, you think like you're like the only one who really thinks this. And then this guy just goes and just talks plain stuff. But the way he delivers it is just amazing. You know, he's just awesome.
Yeah.
South African comedians are
Dude,
top-notch,
South African
top-notch.
comedians are incredible, man.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's why I have them on the podcast, because I think they're important, man.
Yeah.
And it's important. You know, I've had so many people come up to me post John Flismus's podcast and be like, because he, you know, the first podcast I just had him on for shits and giggles, right? Because he said yes. So I was like a fanboy and I was like a kid in the candy store. On the second podcast, we had him in for his show called Brain Dump. And I know quite a few people I know personally who said to me, look, I went and watched his show, not because it's John Flismus and it's his show, because we heard him on your podcast and we realized the depth and we realized the intellect and we realized the intelligence. And I'm using him as an example, but it's like that with everybody, right? All these comedians and all these thinkers, because you've got to be fucking sharp, dude.
Yeah, those guys are geniuses.
And you've got to have opinions and strong opinions. And, you know, I think in that sentence, they're better off than we are. Because we have opinions, we're just too fucking scared to tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah? Lest we get Facebook raged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad,
No,
eh?
Those guys, proper genius.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time.
Right.
So, dude, I want to talk about and I've been thinking about this now, because for the last 2 days, we obviously spoke on 2 days ago, and we confirmed for the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested. You come from an exceptional family.
Yeah,
Right?
it's quite an interesting story.
Yeah. Quite an interesting story, and I'd love to talk about it. But
Take you back there.
yeah, please. But you come from an exceptional family, yet you seem to have completely branched off into something that is outside of what would be agreed to as the family business. So, I mean, your grandfather was the founder of Metro Cash,
Yeah.
right? And your father was the co-founder of Jumbo.
Jumbo Home and Catering as well, which is back then it was known as Consolidated, which is like the biggest suppliers of kind of kitchenware to the restaurants, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, but I mean, there's a reason why I went completely different to what they did. I can take you back. I mean,
Please do.
Metro
Let's
Cash
go.
and Carry is a really interesting how it started.
Yeah, please.
So what happened was, you know, it was my grandfather and his two brothers, Sam, Cyril, Lionel. They had a small little farm type shop, you know, selling lucerne, like kind of grass to the farmers in the area.
Really?
So it was a tiny little business. Then all of a sudden, you know, it was during apartheid started happening, and that area was known today as Soweto.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, you know, they had 2 million people kind of rock up in the area, pretty much the only shop there. And they're like, you know, shit, like how do we supply all of these kind of people, you know? So actually then they went and they pretty much copied the idea from Australia. There was already like a metro type cash and carry that was going. So it's kind of like one of these outlier stories, you know. I mean,
I love it.
They weren't brilliant. So I mean, Cyril was like already genius. He was kind of more like the real brains behind it, you know. But it was more like, you know, it fell into their hands all of a sudden. You know, 2 million people.
I agree, but the opposite of that could also be, fuck it, let's leave.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, success is a formulation of when preparation meets luck.
Yeah.
So they were prepared and luck happened because that's an event, right?
Yeah. And guys loved it. I mean,
And
my grandfather could speak like Funiglo. Like, do you know that? I mean, that's like a mixture of languages the guys learned, I think, like in the mines, if I'm not mistaken, because
could have been
actually speaking this language and this language.
Actually,
so they kind
I think
of
you're
like
right. I think
combined
it was the
together.
mines.
So like my grandfather, you'd like take him and we would like stop at a garage, you know, you go into like the quick shop, come back, you see him, there's like 100 people surrounding the cars and he's speaking to them in Zulu and Funiglo. They used to love it. So guys like loved him, you know, so that was like one of his things. And then, yeah, I mean, that's like how Metro started.
Okay.
You know, they just more replicated the idea from Australia and kind of just took it, you know, big. And then, you know, eventually the company was pretty much sold to big corporates and they had these big head offices and that kind of, you know, so Metro Cash and Carry actually went bankrupt about, was it 10 years ago? And a whole lot of the different stores, 50-50 been split between a whole lot of different kind of cash and carries that bought them up because obviously in good kind of spots and some guys bought the Metro name. So it was sad for us to see, you know, this was like a family legacy, you know, it would have been cool to kind of, you know, take over with it. So yeah, I mean that's how Metro Cash and Carry started. You know, it wasn't a bunch of genius dudes.
No, how incredible! But capitalization, isn't that the entrepreneurial spirit?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you see it's there. Okay, hit it.
It's true. I mean, they could have ducked. And
they
said,
could have run and said, "Oh God, I don't want to deal with this."
Yeah, we're out of place here. You know, there's
whatever the case may be,
money or whatever it is, but. Yeah, there's money. I mean, that's a huge industry. And I mean, some of the richest guys I know are all in this cash and carry type space. It's like this brutal, hectic space. These guys get like the lowest prices possible. You know, that's why I knew when you know Walmart were moving in here. You know, still under they thought that they would kind of come in and dominate. But if you know these kind of like these Muslim traders and these kind of guys, you're not going to beat them on prices. You know, they've done their homework.
I've got a very good friend of mine who's high up in Massmart. In that group, and we actually sat down about 4 weeks ago because at some point I'm going to get him on the podcast. Actually to do with his music though, not anything else. But he was saying to me, he literally said to me, he said the Muslims have got this tied up like you have no idea, and you're the second person that's corroborated that in like a month.
I mean I used to also like calling them, you know, in my business, kind of just it was all the Muslim guys. I'm a Jewish boy. But I mean, that just made so much more conversation.
Sure. I think if you are willing to put aside any prejudices, right? Okay, and preconceived ideas and all this bullshit, but you can do business with anybody. I really do. I think so.
South Africa, we're like best mates. Middle East, like still killing each other, but we dig each other, you know.
Absolutely.
Get along so well with them. You know, I actually realized we're so similar.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I definitely could.
I lived in Dubai for a year, like as part of further stage down of the company that I started. Eventually, we set up a warehouse. You know, they've got these duty-free zones called the Jebel Ali Free Zone. Duty-free, but it's not exempt from other fees. There's so many different fees. You know, like 50,000 dirhams, which is like 200,000 rand per like employee per year, and all these kind of expenses add up. But I lived there, and I was working with some really staunch Muslim guys, and guys from Pakistan, whenever, and I actually learned more about my religion there than I did in my entire 12 years at school, kind of.
And it was probably just from the Muslims.
Yeah, because they were asking me Brandon, in your religion, can you guys do this and this? And I was like, I'm gonna have to go read up and find out about it because I have no choice. So I started learning so much of mine and so much of there, and we even the words are similar, like what we use. Well,
Christianity, Muslim, and Judaism are all from the Abrahamic faiths, right? So
it's also similar.
It's all very, very similar.
Our word for charity is tzedakah. Theirs is sadaqah kind of thing. It's so similar.
It's ridiculous that people kill each other over religions.
Yeah, jeez.
I really think so.
Yeah.
And then after that, you say, and your father, he was the co-founder of Jumbo.
Yeah. So he worked for Metro for quite a while. He was doing.
I can imagine. He was in the business.
So he was pretty much their top salesperson. He can sell anything. Everything I learned about selling is from him.
Your dad. Yeah.
And to be successful in entrepreneurship, you have to be able to sell. That's key thing. It's the biggest weakness I see in a lot of guys. So he could literally sell anything. So he worked for Metro for quite a while, and then eventually he branched off into his own company. He had another very wealthy partner, it's the guy Basil Gordon, and they started what is known as Consolidated Importers and Exporters. So this was this is kind of just after, it was almost like combined with Jumbo.
Okay.
So with Jumbo, but his focus was more on the Consolidated, which is a massive company. I mean, there's actually a really good lesson to learn when it do what happened with his company. You know, it's a very successful company, cruising, you know, almost borderline going to list on the stock exchange. And then
today.
Yeah, it's a huge company, nearly going to list on the stock exchange. Then their partner, my dad's partner, Basil, at that stage actually passed away, and he had signed surety on all the loans and everything like that, you know. So then the bank came and called in and to pay the loans, and they're like, you know, shit.
And there was no key man or...
And their trust, there's no key man insurance, you know. This is something that, you know, it's something you don't think of, you know, like if you know you have a partner who's like literally like, you know, signs surety for 80% of the company, whatever it is, you got to protect yourself about it. You don't think of that until it happens. So all of a sudden they were like, you know, fucking, and then the estate and the trust starts suing because they want their money out as well. You know, there's a big company, and they eventually actually had to shut doors and sell it off to, you know,
shit, how fucking terribly sad.
I know. I mean, that was a cruising company. You know, it was pumping. It was definitely the largest by far in the catering industry.
Shit. And I mean, like we were discussing earlier, I mean, I'm a management consultant as well, in addition to all the other weird things that I do. But I mean, it's something that I sit down with my guys very seriously and say, we need to look at these things, you know. Do you have key man? Is this guy important? What happens if he dies? What happens? What's your backup plan? You know, because young business guys just don't get it.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. They don't know.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know.
Yeah. Key man, like, because I know the experience, I'm like, shit, you know, I'm in business, the dude owns 80% and he's got all the money. Flipping taking out key man insurance.
Yeah.
That kills you quick.
And another thing that's also very important, I think it's going to become more and more important in this country going forward, is directors and officers liability. Yeah, without a doubt. Because I mean, now what happens is you fuck something up, or one of your managers fuck something up, and you know, chemical spill here, there, or a sexual assault charge here or there, and the problem is, the media just fucking eats you, regardless of whether or not you're actually to blame. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's not our decision whether or not he's guilty, it's the court's decision, right? But until then, you branded, martyred, fucking crucified. And it's so important to have these types of things in place. But again, young business owners, they don't understand this and they don't know it. And I mean, back then, what the fuck, directors and officers liability and key man insurance and shit like that. I don't even
know what it is. I asked my dad today, he still wouldn't even know what key man insurance is, you know. But I mean, it's something that obviously a financial advisor needs to push and really explain it to you. I don't know if they understood it properly, but I mean, that would have been a huge...
See, I'm excellent, so I understand this. And we had a commercial branch, a commercial arm, so I really it. And then part and parcel of my role as management consultant is to go, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have an employment contract? Is it legal? Do you have CCMA representatives? Is it legal? I mean, dude, the intricacies of actually doing business, especially when you go 100 plus, that whole dynamic changes then, and the legalities start changing, and especially when your financial start getting to a certain degree, because Oaks go from small business mentality, their business grows, their business expands, and good to them. I mean, they're doing it right. And the next thing, the department knocks up and it's like, right, where's your register? No, you don't have it. 50 grand fucking fine. Bam. I didn't even know I needed to have one. Yep, you this over...
You've got a lady pregnant, you don't even know how to do the UIF, you got all this kind of stuff that's going on. It's like, I've seen it.
Man.
So it becomes a whole big ballgame, a whole different story,
Entrepreneurs are a very special breed, man. Very, very special breed with big brass balls, right?
Just, I've come across them all, literally.
So let's talk about you, right? You were in Wits and you studied?
So I studied BCom Finance.
Okay.
I was going to do information systems, should have.
I
chose marketing instead.
Oh, fuck,
I think marketing would be good, which is complete bullshit. Learning at university, it's like, you know, price, product, place, promotion. That's pretty much all you ever learn. Is like, you know, I wish they actually taught you.
You could have Googled that.
I wish they taught you like psychological techniques on how to market to people and use orange because people can see it from further and, you know, that kind of stuff. But it is really boring. I mean, finance I always loved, So finance, I used to enter these, these JSC schools challenges, and I always used to cruise those. I learned ways to sort of cheat. It wasn't cheating, it was just using stuff that no one else was using, like investing into like put options and call options, and whereas everyone else was just buying like shares in Cecil and hoping. So at the end of the year, you'd see they'd give you like a fictitious R1 million. End of the year, second place would be like 1.2 million rand, and you'd see me on like 15.6 million, because I've used all these instruments that no one else is using.
And how did you learn the instruments though?
I don't know. I guess I was a nerd about that. I mean, I used to read Benjamin Graham's type story. He was like one of the founders of investing. And I just like heard about all these put and call options and warrants. And so I just went into ShareNet and I started looking up what are these things. I'm like, cool, I can buy like a Cecil, call option at 1 cent. And I had like a strategy. Back then, as soon as a hurricane was on its way to America, the oil price would spark and Cecil shares would go up. It was like, that's what used to happen
like
every
Bible.
time. So I used to do like 4 trades a year, and I knew for sure this always used to hit. I always used to I'd pump everything R1 million into a 1 cent share. It'd go up like double, whatever it is, triple, 3 times.
Boom, you've made your money.
I didn't care about volume, so that was my game plan, and it worked. I mean, I did that. I used to dominate. It was only like the 3rd time I did it. I think I found out like another team was definitely doing it. It was between me and them. One day but it happened. One day you're on the leaderboard, you had like 15 million. The next day you're down to like 400 grand. You're like coming dead last. But it was risk.
All your money.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was one of those high risk, but it was good fun. So
Shit.
I always loved the investment games. So finance I really enjoyed. It was cool actually.
Makes sense.
Yeah, actually, but still, I think I learned. You come out of university, you don't actually know how to buy a share. Like luckily I was trading and all of that stuff before, but if you had to actually, you can speak to someone who's cum laude 100%, they'll still know less about picking stocks than, picking stocks, no one really knows how to do it anyways, but.
No, well, no one other than Warren Buffett, right?
Yeah, Warren Buffett, I don't know what he knows some secrets.
Dude, he's plugged into the Matrix. And G13, and if there are lizards, them too, and he fucking everything, bro.
I always wondered, why is he investing in McDonald's? It's like this, this shitty kind of fast food company, but I didn't realize until, the movie Founders. I don't know if you've seen it, where
I've heard of it.
Where I saw, actually McDonald's always own the land.
Correct.
And they get the company on top, which is paying them the lease. It's actually like a property company that's earning as well from its tenants. Correct. It's like a killer model. And I didn't know this, It's like.
And many people
Buffett
don't know that. McDonald's isn't into burgers.
Yeah.
McDonald's is into property.
Yeah, it's a property. It's one of the biggest property owners in the world, from like second or first.
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere around there.
But this is something that, I'm quickly digress and then we'll get back to you. But again, I was speaking to somebody, and I don't want to mention the name now, but I was speaking to somebody very influential in business the other day, and he sat down and he said to me, let me talk to you about business models. So I said, okay, cool. Yeah. He goes to me, I don't really care what my profit margins are. So I say, okay. Yeah. He goes, what I care about is carrying cash. So I said, what do you mean? He goes, so I'll buy something now and I will pay my supplier in 90 days. Like, okay. And he goes, so I carry that cash for 90 days. He says, now let's go 1 million, 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion. And let's look at what I can do with $10 billion or rand or whatever the case may be for 90 days. And it just turns and turns and turns. And I just sat there and I was like, you fucking kidding me? I was just like, it completely blew my mind. And we were discussing McDonald's because it's like McDonald's. It is exactly like McDonald's. All I'm trying to do is carry cash, nothing else.
Yeah.
It fucking blew my mind.
It's a thinking out of the box mentality for a company, eh?
Very much so. If I had to tell you who this company is, I'm not allowed to. But if I had to tell you who this company is, you'd be like, oh, I'll tell you off air. But fucking incredible. It's genius. Yeah. That's what they do. They carry the cash. And then if you've got that amount of money and you've got a good investment strategy, dude, even if you're making 5%, 2%, 1%, it's...
Yeah, sorted.
And then, of course, there is still profit margin. So you don't trade at a loss, right? Yeah. So you are still selling X product for 1 rand or 2 rand, but you're selling many of them.
Yeah.
So yes, there's profit, but that's not really the point, right? Really, the point is carrying the cash for 90 days.
I love those kind of business models, where it's, at the surface it looks like this, but if you look deeper into it,
yeah.
I've come across a lot of companies like that. I'm like, just why are these guys investing in this kind of service that like delivers maids or whatever to you? But then I realized, they're selling huge amounts of data to, whoever company it is, like
and
big money.
But data is going to be
Data's
king.
Yeah.
Data is king, but I think it's going to become I think it's going to become akin to currency. I think it's going to become that important.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
And maybe not now, maybe 10 years down the line, and maybe I'm wrong, but that's my opinion. I think it's going to become that valuable.
Yeah. That's why, like, I still kind of remain, even though Facebook's took so much flack, the amount of data that they have,
They don't care.
I mean, I'm still holding that. You know, something's going to come out where
Yeah.
AI technology is going to need huge amount of data.
Yeah.
Facebook's the oaks to go to.
Yeah. Facebook. Well, I mean, have you read the book about Google?
Yeah.
How Google started?
Yeah.
Yeah. The guys had no clue what they were even doing, and they were like, "How do we monetize this? We don't know."
Yeah.
Literally, they didn't know how to monetize it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we'll fucking advertise. So between Google and Facebook, I don't think there are bigger data
No.
gatherers.
Doubt it.
Yeah, I think they must be the biggest.
I mean, LinkedIn's great, but I mean,
no, it doesn't.
Facebook's biggest issue is they've run out of humans, you know?
Yeah.
Unless they take it into China. It's so weird. I don't know if you've ever been to China. You try, like, you know, there's no Facebook,
Yes.
no YouTube,
But no
WhatsApp.
Yeah, because their whole internet's regulated, eh? Yeah, state.
Great firewall of China.
That's it.
So I knew that, you know, by the second trip that I went to Cape Town, I'd make sure my PC was on back at home, and I'd put a TeamViewer on so I could actually log in through that and use my South African computer to go into, like, Facebook, whatever it is. You know, that's like,
Oh, clever.
there was no other way around it. It
Yeah.
was like a game. I used to try to play a game.
that's
Like,
it.
how can I get through this water?
And I don't think people realize. I think in the back of their minds, they're like, oh, you know, China's like a communist state, like kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, there's free market because they push it because they have to.
Yeah.
But they're a communist country. I mean, you heard what happened in the Olympics, eh?
Yeah.
Like, please don't quote me, but 80k radius, everybody closes. Not will you please, everybody closes. Boom, done.
Yeah. No, man.
How the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
Somebody walks up to you, you've got to close your business for how long? 3 months?
Yeah.
2 months?
I mean, there's a city there, I don't know if it was Shenzhen or Guangzhou, the government decided we're banning motorcycles. Within like 3 months, everyone's handing in the motorcycles, they gave them a little bit of money, and that was it. No
Boom.
more. So driving through there, you see like these stockpiles of motorbikes. I'm like, jeez, how do I buy these motorbikes? You know, it's just like, that is it.
Bam.
Just gone. No more
And
motorbikes.
you cannot do that in a non-communist
Yeah.
state. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's why they're so competitive. They can just
Yeah.
do these things. you know?
Literally
It's
just do these things.
boom. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like Trump.
And let's be serious. It's like Trump. And let's be serious, dude. I mean, they're highly intelligent.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
They know- they
Reverse
know how to-
engineer specialists.
Yeah. Brilliant at it, eh?
Yeah. Top Gear. I'm a Top Gear fan, right?
Me too, love it.
So Jamie Clarkson's actually my dad. Right. Or at least I wish he was. Just because I love him so much. Right?
Legend.
But like to my real dad, I love you, Dad. But
He's so natural on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
You can see that's legit him. That's
he's
him.
fucking amazing, right? And they did a special once in China, and they took car and compared it to the originals,
Yeah.
and it is ridiculous. It is a blatant 100% ripoff
Yeah.
of the car, and the guys were just like, "How do you do this?" It's like, because we're China. That's why.
Government protector.
Yeah.
They copied the X5 or whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was, and then government said, no, it's different.
Yeah.
They're like, why? No, it's different.
No reason, just because the fucking government
Close
said
it.
so. Yeah, that's it. And let's be serious, okay? The three superpowers are America, Russia, China. Okay? But China's got the biggest standing army. It's bigger than America,
Yeah.
I believe.
In terms of like
Yeah.
number of,
And they're crazy.
yeah.
Like completely crazy.
Yeah.
So, if somebody's going to fall on your own sword for,
Yeah.
I mean, that's fanaticism that we in the West, we can't really match that and deal with that, right?
Yeah, no, just be like, all right, great.
Yeah, okay, you won't
Done.
take it all. So okay, so we completely digress. But so getting back to you,
Yeah.
university. After university, you started a business.
Yeah. So after university, I was always going on these trips with my dad occasionally into these different cash and carries and whatever it is, or it wasn't always cash and carries, but kind of what I noticed was in the shelves for these, like basically the Chinese products were packaged terribly.
Okay.
That have, one example was rat poison. They had a picture of a hamster on it, So then there's glasses and it would just be like, just the most boring packaging ever.
Okay.
And I was pretty good at Photoshop at that stage. So I thought it was like,
I can do
what
a
if I
bit
just
better.
find the exact same supplier? I mean, I know that, I can find suppliers for the exact same price. I design their own packaging, send it to them. If I come in at the exact same price point, but with way better packaging, it's going to sell. And that was like the whole product. So it was actually like the whole concept was shit product, good packaging.
Okay.
That was it. That was the concept. Simple as that.
Okay.
And
I like it.
And it worked, you know. I mean, you don't have to be like, come up with all these hectic, amazing ideas and try to source this tech from somewhere else. You can just kind of do something simple like that, you know. So
what a fucking ridiculous business idea.
so
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked. So, I mean,
Holy shit. Holy shit.
I still remember my first ever sales call. I went and I had like, I think I had, my first order was 48 mugs. You know, I was so impressed. I was like, yes.
Yeah, winning.
48 mugs. That was the first. And then after a year of trading, I think I was just over 18 million rand in turnover, which was pretty solid.
Holy shit.
After
Just for you? Just you?
Just me. Well, by then I had partners involved afterwards. Yeah. So,
but 18 million in a year.
Yeah. After
from zero.
And after 5 years, it was hitting. What do we hit? 84 million. So yeah, it was good, and that was kind of around the time that exited. So, I mean, it was great.
84 million in 5 years.
Yeah, it's because it's huge revenue, but you got to remember
small
the
margins.
profit. Yeah,
small
the margins
margins.
are pretty
Sure. But still.
Yeah, no, it was good business. It's something that you couldn't go too wrong on. I mean, if I bought in a container of terrible mugs, worst comes to worst, you know, I paid £3 a mug. Let me just sell it off for £2, whatever it is. You know,
and
someone will buy it.
Something. Yeah, I've got you.
So,
I've got you. Why did you exit?
I just felt like there wasn't any. Just basically the right offer at the right time. You know,
Okay.
I think maybe I did actually exit potentially too early, but I don't know. You know, China was becoming more evolved. You know, they had kind of upped their game as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of those features. Yeah, and China was getting there. Yeah, there's only like so much packaging and trips to China you could do it. I was kind of ready for something new. I was always also into tech, and you know, so I kind of wanted to let me like expand my horizons and, you know, look at kind of different things. And yeah, you know, obviously the whole family's always catching. It's always still a passion of mine. You know, guys used to read books on, I don't know, whoever it was, you know, celebrities. I was reading books on Sam Walton, you know, from Walmart.
Yeah.
He was like my hero when I was young, so it's still always a passion of
In
mine.
your blood, yeah.
It's just
So what was the offer?
I can't really get rid of it. So it was like an interesting type of offer in that towards the end I actually started going into, it was like a whole windy route actually. So eventually, you know, I went into Dubai, then I started exploring into like a retail type concept where I actually set up a retail store within a cash and carry.
Okay.
So I mean, didn't work great. It was kind of, your companies always have kind of fails, and you know,
of course.
Like I'd classified Dubai as a bit of a fail.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was a fail.
Okay,
I'll
so
call
be
it a
it.
fail. Yeah, that was, whatever, break even kind of thing on it. But then I started going to the retail side of things. It was almost like a concept type store where put in. It was doing okay, but I mean, I realized
It's like the first
retail's
versions of a pop-up store.
Yeah, almost, pretty
Almost.
much. Yeah, that kind of a concept.
In-store
yeah,
pop-up store.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hard to monitor stock. Every time you do stock take, you realize, we just lost like 500k somewhere. Like, where did this go?
Oh shit!
There's so much theft in it. It's very hard to. I don't know if it's theft or just bad accounting records, but either way, I hate to stock take. Let's like not do stock take. We'll do much better this year. So yeah, eventually doing that, but through that, you know, while that wasn't a success, it actually turned out to be kind of crucial because that company that I actually trotted out were the guys that ended up purchasing the company and bringing it into their whole business.
Okay.
So the company itself doesn't actually exist anymore, but it's more been dispersed within their stores.
diluted,
They've got the suppliers, they've got, you know, just bringing in that kind of.
But you managed to sell
that kind
out?
of thing. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's not easy to sell a company, so it's always great to be able to exit, you know.
Yeah.
It's something that guys don't realize is how to exit a company. You know, you've got to be able to hand over the keys and guys can run it. You know, you've got to know this is your rep schedule. You know, your sales reps have to be Monday and Tuesday to this place. You've got to know where they're going. You got to know suppliers. A lot of guys, it's like run purely by one dude. You know, like if he's gone, that's
all his
CEO
IP
leaves.
sitting in here.
Yeah, but you can't run like that, you know. That was actually one of the lessons I learned from, you know, Pavlo Phitidis. I used to listen to him on 702.
Okay.
And he was like awesome. He's like a genius, you know. And he always used to give great value, like great ideas, you know, always generate your business so it's an asset of value that can be exited. And I always used to listen to that and kind of always keep that in the back of my mind, you know. So that was kind of one of the key kind of things that I always make sure.
Absolutely.
I
Well, I mean, essentially what I say to my business owners that I consult with is this is your goal. Your business should be able to run without you.
Yeah.
You should be able to leave
Yeah.
for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to a month, and nothing changes.
Yeah.
And if you can, then you've run a good business.
Yeah.
But if it hinges off you,
Yeah.
well, then are you a business owner or are you selling your time?
Yeah.
Are you a consultant?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Most guys it's just a job. You know, it's a full-on job.
Yeah, it's a job.
Yeah, they own money, they own shares in it, but it's a job. You know,
It's
how
a
you
job.
going to
Yeah,
sell
I'm a
that?
slave to, whether you're a slave to your boss or a slave to your company, you're
Yeah.
still a slave, for a lack of a better way of putting it. And I suppose it's a very derogatory term, but it's
Yeah.
very opt right now.
I mean, I know some really brilliant companies, but it's, you know, he doesn't have children to kind of give it over
Yeah.
to him. And he's got all the IP in his head. You know, he knows it's all about relationships that he has with guys. He's
Yeah.
like good mates with them. And he's like, so if someone else had to come over, I think, you know, it just kind of flops. So he doesn't really know what to do with the company. You know, he's just, you know, he's obviously going to have to like kind of exit it to some kind of
Yeah.
big corporate. They'll just literally buy it for what the stock value is worth or something like that, you know. So I mean, that's what happens, and it's stuff you don't think of. You got to think of
Yeah.
it almost from the beginning. But at the same time, I hate meeting entrepreneurs that are like, yeah, you know, we're planning to exit in 5 years.
Yeah,
I haven't got
yeah,
a product.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, no, you know, like,
Yeah.
don't
Build
look
your-
at startup, look at business. Make this a business.
That's it. Turn it into a business, but turn it into a business that long term you can not exit, you can walk away from.
Yeah.
And build another business. And then build, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So you've got to be short-sighted and long-sighted. You've got to play the long game, but you most certainly got to play the short game. Because I agree with you. I also hear so many times, oh no, I'm going to start a business and my plan is in 5 years I'm exiting. And you're like, what business are you starting? No, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're exiting before you start.
You fucking don't even have a business plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Like, I think Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are thinking when they're going to exit. No, they're thinking, how am I going to make an amazing product?
Absolutely. And then we'll worry about it later. But you see, here's the problem. And I think I've identified it. And I'm going to use the perfect example, the unicorn called Instagram, right? Everybody wants to build an Instagram and in a short time get bought by Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? Bam! Instant fucking Brazilianaire.
Yeah.
Right?
That.
But, okay, 7.2 billion people on the face of the planet. And you can name like 15 to 20 unicorns in the last 10 years. Statistically speaking, it's not going to be you.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that disrespectfully. Statistically speaking, you're not going to build this business. It's not going to exit, and you're not going to make hundreds and hundreds of millions of rands. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It takes hard work.
Yeah.
And luck.
Yeah.
And preparation.
Yeah. I mean, Instagram's amazing. I mean, Facebook bought Instagram. I mean,
No.
what a business.
It was a year or two old.
I use Instagram way more than I use Facebook now. You know?
Yeah, so do
It's
I.
just so much. I use gym workouts. I use business advice. Anything.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. I love Instagram in comparison to Facebook.
Have you seen how much money people make through like affiliate programs?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you'll look at a girl wearing a dress or whatever it is, but you're thinking, oh, cool, she's wearing a dress.
Nice chick,
But
like.
listen, you know, she's got like a
Yeah.
Superbalist logo at the bottom. You click on that link, you know,
Bam,
they
takes
track
you
it for
through.
3 months,
Yeah.
whatever leads comes from her, and she'll get like 7% or whatever sales came through it. You know?
So on the
It's huge
on
money
the
in
one
that.
part of my business model is the management consulting, and on the other is social media management, marketing, and brand positioning.
Yeah.
And so we see what these guys do in Instagram, and I understand that business model, the affiliate. A lot of my clients use influencers, and it's just ridiculous.
Guys don't know about
Look,
it.
bro,
eh?
at the end of the day, right, I do exactly the same thing. I mean, I had Yaku Brain on the podcast, okay? Unbeknownst to me, Yaku Brain has like 40 million followers on Facebook, something ridiculous like that. I can't remember the number.
Yeah.
It's in my book
A
somewhere.
lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, I didn't know this, but did I not then unintentionally use him as an influencer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yaku, won't you please share this? Because, it was his podcast, right?
Yeah.
Bam! Fuck, I mean, that's the game, right? It's about eyeballs.
Yeah.
It's about eyeballs. That's what it is now.
And that's a targeted, I mean, it works.
Works. Yeah.
I've seen my wife, she watched some girl putting on like contouring makeup and it's cool. She thinks it's like cool, this person is using Dove. I'm like, she's using Dove because she was paid by Dove or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know? It's like,
So then the next
But it
question
works.
is, do you build an app? Because an app needs, and I believe business is going platform based, right? That's what I think a large portion of the business is going platform based, app based. Are guys building an app for the app's sake, or are they building it for the data's sake?
I mean, the smart guys are building it for the data set.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I come across so many apps these days.
Really.
So I mean, like my core business at the moment now, what I do,
Well, let's get to it.
So the company's called Catalyst Solutions.
Catalyst Solutions, yeah.
Catalyst Research Solutions. And what we do is I meet up with companies, identify what kind of potential government incentives are for them. There's so many government incentives that no one actually knows about. We're pretty much the marketing department of the government.
Okay.
I'll take you through like a few of the examples.
Please,
but I mean,
dude. This is why we're here. I'm so fucking fascinated with your business model, dude.
So what we do is we scope out what incentives are there for this company. Then we do the whole application process for it. And how we work is everything works on like a success fee. So if we get them 10 million rand, we'll take a percentage of that 10 million. And so we're part of a larger group called VAT-IT. If you've heard of VAT-IT, it's the largest VAT reclaim company in the world.
Really?
Massive company. It's also clever. What they do is claim foreign VAT. If you guys... you're going to go overseas, you're going to stay in a whole lot of hotels with your company, you can claim back that VAT, but it's a mission to do yourself. I've tried to do it once before myself and I can't do it. So what they do is...
You're a clever guy.
Whatever VAT they do, I try my best. But
I'm saying in comparison to the average person,
most people don't even know you can claim that back.
Correct. So if you can't get it right, I fucking certainly can't. Right.
So literally, what they did is they decided, all right, we'll claim back the VAT, whatever percentage VAT we get back, we'll
give
charge you a percentage. It's free money. It's an easy sell. And it's the same as us. I'm coming to sell you, I'm selling you a 5 million rand grant, you pay me 500 grand, So it's like free money, that's like how the concept is. So, I mean, if I had to take you through like technology incentive. So I mainly deal with tech companies. Okay. That's like my thing. I love it. We split up into a few different divisions. We have the big manufacturing type incentives. We have energy incentives, even the carbon tax, which is coming out. We're really like all sorted out for that. But my love's around the tech.
Okay.
So like the flagship incentive in South Africa is the R&D tax incentive.
Okay.
So R&D tax incentive is anything that if you're advancing science and technology. So
right.
You there, what's an example? If you had to, I'm trying to make a battery last, 10 hours instead of 8 hours, it's going to be this smaller. There's a whole lot of unknown technologies. How am I going to develop this? Let's say your payroll comes to R1 million in developing just like an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
In your tax returns, you get an additional 50% tax deduction if you qualify for the R&D tax incentive. So now, in your tax returns, you're going to put a 1.5 million rand as an expense as opposed to 1 million rand. So this is going to significantly reduce the amount of tax that you pay eventually. So every million rand you spend, you're actually saving 140,000 rand after tax. So it's a significant saving. So the main guys utilizing it are the big listed companies. So a lot of our clients are like the big listed companies. So because a startup, I meet startups and tech startups have burned through 15 million rand already. So for them, a tax incentive would just push them into further assessed loss. So it's not like very attractive to them.
Okay.
For instance, we actually do it in Australia as well. In Australia, you can convert, I think it's like 43% of your assessed loss into cash. I mean, I wish they had. We've lobbied it so many times with Department of Science and Technology in South Africa, and they're just like, all right, we're going to look into it, and nothing really happens.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, if they really want a solid incentive, that's something they should. I mean, they came out with the Section 12J type incentives.
And I'd like to go into that, please.
Yeah, so I can talk about that as well, and the kind of pitfalls with that kind of things. So anyways, so I was saying R&D tax incentives, that's one of the flagship incentives. Then from that, there's something called a SPI cash grant, support program for industrial innovation. So this is run through DTI. So now this is for still an innovative product. So now you've got a basic, let's call it shitty prototype. Now you want to get it ready for commercialization on the shelves, whatever it is. So government will match you 50-50. It's a pure cash grant, so up to 5 million rand. So, project costs 10 million rand. They'll give you 5 million rand. Pure cash grants is like no strings attached. Maybe they want a little logo on your website. That's it, So it's not guaranteed to get it. There's always, whatever, 30% chance of getting it. There's certain requirements. You do need some kind of level of BE. It has to be some new and novel technology, something that's not easy to copy.
Of course.
Generally something that takes almost a year to develop. They don't want something that
not replicable, but innovative.
Yeah. So they said, if you apply for less than 2 million rand, then it benchmarks you against South African companies. If you apply 2 million and above, then it's going to benchmark you against, Lockheed Martin kind of things, like the biggest companies in the world.
Okay.
Which happens to us. I mean, we deal with drone companies, and the drone can fly with as much, and then we'll take it to them, and they'll be like, yeah, but, Boeing's drone can fly for this. I'm like, Boeing spent $200 million on R&D. This guy's from Free State, he developed this in his garage.
Yeah.
So, I mean... a bit stupid. I mean, they should allow. There's a lot that could be done in the incentive space. Then there's other incentives. So, I mean, that incentives are 50-50. But if you say a level 1B company, you can get up to like an 85% matching cash grant. I mean, these are really like powerful incentives that no one really knows about. You know,
Absolutely.
It's a mission to apply for, but that's why we have a business, because we do the whole kind of
You
thing
do the
for
work.
You know, and then so then the next
And I
time
like your
the
business
next
model.
kind
I
of
love your
incentive-
business model.
Yeah, it's pretty much free money. You know,
Free money, and it's risk free for the company. It's risk free.
It's completely risk free.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah,
to
yeah.
lose. It sometimes annoys me. You know, I'll come to a meeting, tell them all about this,
And
they'll
they're
be
like,
like,
no.
"Mate, your fee's expensive." I'm like, 10 minutes ago, you didn't know you could get 5 million rand. Now you're complaining that it's potentially a 100 grand fee or whatever it is, you know?
No, how ridiculous.
I'm like, in future, I'm going to come and not tell you the name of the incentive and be like, there's potentially something I can get. Just like, go and Google it or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it's like. There's always that kind of, but the companies always eventually start looking at it. They maybe potentially try to do it by
their own.
themselves, and they look through the form and they're like, okay, we have no idea how to do this. And I get a phone call. All
Come
right,
help.
please do this for us.
Yeah, I would love to know, and if it's a cheeky question, please tell me. And I'm talking out of pure business interest, but I would love to know your fucking lead to sale ratio, because it must be high. Who says no to this?
It's high. Yeah, it is high, you know? So
Please don't give me a number. It's just cheeky for me to ask, but fuck, it must be ridiculously high.
it's high. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like,
It's up there.
it's over the 70% kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's
Where
lead
it's hard is maybe, you know, R&D tax incentive, where maybe it's a company they've got a huge amount of employees and they're potentially doing it themselves, you know.
Sure.
But I mean, the R&D tax incentive is one of the easier ones potentially if you can do it yourself, but not necessarily. I mean, you put in one wrong word and the whole thing will be rejected, you know. So
Really,
you've really got to
Is
know
it
it.
that?
Yeah, often I speak to guys and they'll be like, "Yeah, so I'm going to motivate it in this way," and I know whatever they're saying is completely wrong.
bullshit,
And I know if
yeah.
they were doing the application, that's the stuff that would have filled in and they would have got rejected. So often guys send us stuff that's been rejected and we'll actually look at it and be like, "Oh, this is where you went wrong," and we
Yeah.
can actually appeal it
And advise.
and we've been successful a lot in turning them back.
Oh, really?
And
In
actually getting
appeals,
them,
eh?
yeah.
What's your success rate in appeals?
Very good, eh? I mean, I
Wow.
couldn't get the exact percentage,
Sure,
but it's
sure,
very
but
high
it's
up
high.
there. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we only really, because we work on a success fee, we do only like take on the companies that we think have a good chance.
Of course. Okay. Also fair enough. Yes.
So, I
yes,
mean, we
yes,
have to kind
yes.
of
Okay, you
filter
have
out
to be
so that
objective.
does-
Yeah.
But I mean, when it comes to the cash grants, you know, it goes to like, eventually it goes to committee. So there's only so much we can do. We can put in a perfect application, but
I can
you
also
know,
get denied.
and there's so many similar projects at the moment, you know. Even when I'll meet a company that's working on this type of mobile wallet that can do this, but you know, last week I met a company that's like 3 years ahead of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like very hard. What do I say to this company?
I
I'm like,
know.
you know, just why don't you lose it? You know, do something else. It's not like that. You know, it's.
Do you
Yes,
give
sir.
that advice or no?
You know, I mean, sometimes, you know, I'll give them kind of advice on like where I think this could be, you know, potentially better. But,
Yeah.
you know, at the same time,
Who are you? You just this guy.
what if I'm right? Just because you're first to market doesn't
Yeah.
mean
Well,
they,
you gotta
they
be
may
first.
have a killer sales
Yeah,
guy.
be
who
first or
just-
be best.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's always the two sides of the things,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you can have a brilliant idea, but you're just way too early and you're
Yeah.
dead. Whereas-
Yeah, true story.
So, I mean, I don't want to tell the guys, listen, stop. You know,
Ask me, dude. I run a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how much money I make out of it? Zero. Zero.
Yeah.
Because I'm way too early to market, right? Guys, just the
but all of a
business.
sudden, 3 years time or something,
Yeah.
you might notice,
Maybe.
boom, you're getting 1 million hits and whatever it is.
Absolutely. The business model here just doesn't exist like it does overseas yet. Yet.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So, and it is what it is. It's my choice. It's
Yeah.
my choice to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's stupid, but it's still my choice.
That's stupid. I think it's cool. Yeah.
I think it's very cool. Yeah, so do
Very
I.
cool, yeah.
So how the hell did you get into this business model?
I mean, I'm not the brains. So Dolf Peluch, he's actually the CEO.
Okay.
He's actually from Australia.
Okay.
So they're doing a similar thing in Oz. He kind of moved here, kind of against what everyone else does. You know, most people move from South Africa to Oz. He moved here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it kind of came along. It fitted in nicely with Varati's model. You know, it could be
Okay.
kind of like an upsell to their current company. So that's kind of where it is. You know, I just kind of, you know, more head up the biz development and coming up with new kind of products. You know, partnering, just kind of more of like an ideas type guy. You know, that's kind of my thing. It's more like an entrepreneurial type role within the
the
company.
business.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is cool because I did, you know, when I kind of got out of my other company, I didn't really know what to do with myself. You know, I didn't have a business idea yet. You know, I didn't really know, boom, I want to sell ice creams or whatever. I was just like,
Sure.
shit, what do I do? I'm like, this sounds really cool. It's working with potentially a lot of startups, it's working with listed companies, it's working with guys in the agricultural sector, it's working with fintech, blockchain. So
Yeah.
I was like, cool, I'm going to be exposed to everything.
Everything.
Literally.
Yeah.
I can't say no to this kind of opportunity. And so definitely went for it. And
they
the stuff
approached
I've
you, and
learned
you
is-
approached them?
The stuff I've learned is amazing. It was kind of indirect, I was actually looking at Varsity, and I just kind of chatted to them. I'm like, do you guys have any, you're looking for something? Because at that stage, I was almost looking at, potentially international exposure. Like, it'd be cool to go work in Japan for a year or whatever. And I kind of went, and they're like, no, we don't really have any opportunities at the moment. Literally, while I was chatting to them, Dov walked in and said, he just walked in and started talking to this like head of HR, and was like talking about, we have this, like, we're looking for someone who can do this, can you find someone? And I was like, in this meeting, I was like, yeah, I can do that.
I can do that.
So we went for a coffee
Really?
that day straight away, and the rest is history.
It's so ridiculous, bro. This whole idea that I heard the stupid saying, but more and more it means something to me. What is success? When luck meets preparation.
Yeah.
It's so fucking ridiculous. Right time, right place. You could have shut up. You could have sat there, but you're like, hi, I can do that.
Like, yeah, keen, that sounds up my alley.
Fuck, how ridiculous is that?
Yeah. So it was something that's how I got into that, and we've just branched out into a whole lot of different stuff within that. So this is the incentives, but then through the incentives we started. I deal with funds, and within the funds I'm working with different incentives within their portfolio companies. So now I've got this huge connection of venture capital funds, private equity funds. So I'm like, all right, let's turn that into a market. So now I have companies that want to sell the company, or sell 40% of it, 50% of it. I've got 100 private equity guys, and I know these guys look at agri-tech, these guys look at fintech, blockchain. So I'm like, all right, let's just kind of set these guys up and hook them up. Or even so that's one part of it. The other part of it is just kind of networking companies. I'll meet a company that's trying to get into, I don't know, whatever it is, abalone farming. They want to install wind turbines. I'll be like, we've got quite a few abalone farmer clients. Let me see if they're interested. It's just like connecting people, which is becoming like, a lot of it is just like free. Let me just, pay it forward. And
Sure.
but
look at
we've
the
realized
value
it's
you add.
best to actually like put some kind of price, like 3% of whatever we like raise you or whatever it is, so that's kind of where we're going. VC in South Africa is so crap.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, there isn't VC. There's private equity. That's pretty much it. I've come across. I don't think I've barely ever seen a pre-revenue kind of company get funded. Maybe like 2.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the government supposed to step in. But
Yes.
so that example I gave you, matching cash grant. Cool. You got 5 million rand confirmed by the government. Where are you going to get the balance of the 5 million? And that's like a typical huge issue that we have with these entrepreneurs, So, that's like a challenge, So
what is
that
this?
comes up a lot.
What do you think the solution is? So, and I want to speak to you. My space, although I do play in some big corporates, right? My place is primarily startup and small. Let's say startup, small and medium, but even the mediums, a handful and large handful, right? But my space is small and micro and startup. That's my space, right?
Yeah.
What can we do, and what advice can we give these types of guys who have got these great startup ideas? And I'm not saying all startup ideas are great. I'm saying most of them are shit. That's irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
What can they do? What is the best route for them to try and go out there and actually get funding and try and do something? Because this is one of the main things when I saw your portfolio and I saw who you are, I was like, that's what I want to. I'm hoping you've got some sort of an answer, because I just believe that part and parcel of how we fix South Africa is through entrepreneurship. And the more entrepreneurs we can build, the more they will hire people, and the more jobs we can give, the better. And I don't think it comes from one person at the top. I think it comes from hundreds of small businesses growing, and hopefully out of 1,000, 10 become big and employ thousands of people. And that's maybe it's a naive dream that I have, but I still believe it's a fucking good route to market for us.
It's a lot of it. It's just education. Cash grants, like even getting these government incentives. Firstly, explore it. See if you can. Give me a call. I'll tell you straight if you can apply or not.
But I'll tell you what. I bet you most people didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, most don't.
Yeah.
Literally. But I don't know. out of 100 companies I meet, maybe 7 will know about it, you know. The rest are like, oh, very interesting, cool, you know, what's the risk kind of thing. But so that's like one route. Then, you know, another route, you know, is, which is the huge like kind of untapped thing, you know, is obviously enterprise development type funding, where these big corporates have to spend like 1 to 3% of their profits after tax onto, you know, especially black-owned companies, you know. Like, while there's a lot of like bad rap around BE, and, you know, a lot of it's purely just BE consulting firms, you know, one of the things I think is amazing is these type of enterprise development type projects, you know, where you know, it's like the company has to invest. Like, I don't know which countries else in the world can actually do this, you know, but if you're a great like black-owned company, you approach, you know, let's say you're making, I don't know, whatever it is, makeup, you approach a L'Oreal, and, you know, they can earn their enterprise development, CSR points, you know, and you can potentially get like interest-free loans, even cash grants from them, you know, even just access to like their logistics and their services, you know. So there's a whole lot of those kind of routes, you know. And then when it comes to like venture capital type thing, you know, just sell something, get some kind of revenue, you know.
Yes.
Just
Agreed.
like,
No, there's got to be some sort of proof of
like,
concept.
Don't try and make like.
But you know what I think?
Don't try and make an amazing first product. Get like shitty prototype that's flooded onto Android. Get like 5 sales. All right, cool. You got something going. Just like a rapid prototype, then start developing it. You know, don't take 6 years before you launch this thing. You know, just try to get something going.
I agree there. You know, and the whole idea is, you can't wait to 100%. You can't wait to 100%. You can
You'll
release
never
it.
be 100%.
No,
anyway.
you can release it. You can release it 75%, and you can still be cool.
Yeah.
And then you can do version 2 and version 3 and follow ups and all the rest of it. But guys, wait till it's perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's a balancing act between perfect and shit.
Yeah.
You don't want shit and you don't want perfect. You need value for money, right? That value exchange better be worth it.
And by then, competitors already moved in.
Yeah.
You know, someone can rapid prototype this thing. Yeah, maybe way worse than yours, but they're first movers. They're into it. You know, they.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now they started getting revenue. You know, kind of further investing, as opposed to guys just burning into it and just like some maxing out their credit cards. You know, so it's just. Boom, game over. They've got no more money to go. Some VC's not going to go invest in them, knowing they owe 600K and this, you know. So
I mean, so you played in the VC space, right?
Yeah, I mean, I deal with a lot of the VCs.
So give our listeners and some of my, because my clients are definitely going to listen to this because I'm going to make them. Give them some advice on. All right, so what is it that I need to have in place in my business? What should I be looking at? How should I be conducting myself before I go out and actually try and find that investor? So a couple of, look, that's a fuck up and this is great.
Yeah.
Give us some advice.
All right. So when I say VCs, first thing they always look at, who's the team? So that's the only chance where you're going to get funding pre-revenue, actually.
Okay.
You know, if you're the ex-CEO of a massive company, you can get the funding. So they're going to look at a good
track record,
good team. They're going to look at, all right, you know, these guys have run this kind of company before, you know, Oracle, you know, these guys are CAs, they've got an actuary, you know, they've proven, you know, during university, they were running the small companies, you know, these guys can actually produce it. And they're not going to just kind of, you know, they get a whole lot of inventors with ideas, but they can't even sell anything, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, that's definitely one of the first biggest stumbling blocks that VCs look at. They always look at the team, you know. And then another thing that they hate is these big business plans, you know. So you give them big business plan, maybe the last page is like an Excel spreadsheet. You just see them to the Excel
spreadsheet.
Look at it, look at the numbers. I look at, you know, the returns, 25%. I can invest in a petrol station tomorrow and get that kind of return, you know.
Yeah.
So you've got to be good at sales. You got to be able to sell that idea to these VC guys. You know, it's not so easy. So I mean, that's definitely one of definitely a team, and then a pitch deck. A pitch deck goes a long way.
A pitch deck.
So pitch deck's like that's like the new thing that you have to send to VCs. It's got to have like pictures. It's got to have graphs. It's like I can send you some examples of pitch decks just to show you. Like that's the new lingo when it comes to VC. Send through your pitch deck. It's generally like something really cool. It's designed by graphic artists, almost like a infographic, kind of saying, you know, this is our competitors.
It's a summary.
Know, it's just like cool pictures to the point. A guy reads it, he knows exactly what this company is. You know, it's got who the team is, what they've done. It's
almost like a little CV for the business.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. And then that gets you into the door. Once interested, cool. Let's have a meeting. Then it only comes to the business plan. I mean, the business plan kind of, business plan is more for yourself. It's for yourself to actually like run the business. You know, the actual VC guys, you know, they don't too care. You know, they're going to say, all right, you know, we want 60 days due diligence, look at your company. You know, that's where it's going to come. But I mean, it's this pitch deck, it's the team, is this product something that we can actually sell? You know, and it's also,
no. And is it a viable? I'm not talking about is it a viable business model? Because if it's not, you must fuck off. I'm saying,
and then it's also reaching out to the right VCs. You know, there's
now how do you do that?
So that you got to do your research. You got to know that. I mean, there's so many different funds. You know, there's if you look at the 12J space, you know, there's the Calon Ventures. You look at technology. You can look at, you know, there's property funds. There's agri-tech funds. So you just got to know who they are. I mean, because I've had so many years in dealing with them, I know which guys. I know, all right, cool. If I've got something great in retail, and I'm going to send it straight to these guys. I know if it's
tech,
if it's fintech, boom, I know these guys. So it's really about, I mean, if you send a fintech CV to guys who are heavily invested in marketing companies, they're not going to look at it. So it's important to know that. I mean, so that's definitely my, and then also, I mean, some of these accelerators and incubators, a lot of them are terrible, but I mean, there are a few like really good ones out there as well. They can definitely help you get to that kind of revenue stage.
What is your thought on the space of crowdsourcing in the future? Do you think it's going to remain a big player? Because I mean, it's been a little bit of a disruptor.
We were actually looking at that model, you know. So obviously there's that Uprise Africa. It does like equity type crowdfunding.
Heard of them? Yeah.
You know, so I mean, we were looking at that model, but we had kind of had the opinion that, you know, South Africa is just not ready for this. There's just not enough in it. There's no liquidity. You know, so we kind of scrapped that idea. We thought, you know, maybe we'll rather do this in Australia or Singapore. You know, where there's, you know, it works in America. And I don't know if South Africa, it's just not ready for it. I don't know when it will be ready for it.
You know, the other thing is, I mean, so we look at these business models, and these business models are fantastic. And some of them are set out in such a way that they'll actually guide you through the whole process of getting this crowdsourced funding. You know, one of the first things they say, because I've looked at a lot of the models, because I'm fascinated by crowdsourcing. I love the idea that we can take it away from the single person and be like, the human race. Like, hey, do you like it? Yes, fund me. If you don't, fuck off. And I dig that. Because I think it's also a good barometer for you. You know, you put it on there, and
that's amazing.
It's amazing.
You look at Indiegogo or whatever it is, you know, and you'll see, all right, 600,000 people keen to go for the race.
Then okay, fucking cool. Kickstarter is my favorite. Right. I mean, and one of my favorite products is Pebble. You know what I mean? Because what a success story. I fucking love it. I love it. What a disruptor. You know, I absolutely love it. But to me, it's a good barometer. So they actually put out the business model quite nice. And the first thing they say is the first thing you need to do is you need to source funding from those closest to you. Okay. And I'm just thinking, in South Africa, like, I'm going to go to my mates and my mom and my dad, and they're going to be like, fuck off. Hey, they don't.
There's just not.
It's a different culture.
Do
you think it's a different? Do you think it is a cultural thing?
Also, like America, you know, like there it works because there's just that scale. You know, yes, they can invest in
Texas
30
has
companies.
got a bigger GDP than South Africa.
I think it's
by miles. I mean, we're talking about one state.
In America, they can invest in 30 companies. 29 fell, but that one company will turn into $800 million. They don't really, you know, they're willing to take that
economies
risk.
of scale.
I mean, South Africa, you know, all right, cool. 29 fell. 30 is good. You make 40 million, 50 million. Does it cover that? No, it's like it's just not that mass. So where I do think South Africa is good is to develop a product here and, you know, try to take it overseas. You know, I was actually in New York recently, you know, and I thought, you know, it'd be cool. I mean, let me actually see like what tech is here, or what's a cool product that I could bring to SA potentially, you know. And I just went there and I was just like, geez, it's actually the other way around, you know. SA is like so ahead. You know, my mate lives there and he pays his rent. The way they have to pay their rent in America is with a check in the post, because EFTs are too expensive and it's like a complete nightmare to do.
You kidding me?
So backwards in so many the banking world is terrible in America.
Holy shit!
It's like
and
shocking.
I think driven by insurance, our fintech is phenomenal.
Top notch.
Absolutely. I mean, have you heard of a product called? Jesus, I hope I don't get this wrong. Now, Pineapple.
So the South African equivalents. I mean, Pineapple. Sorry, I'm thinking of Lemonade is the American. Big guys who kind of started this.
Oh, really? And then the South African equivalent to that is Pineapple.
So there's Pineapple. There's another company called like Naked, where you take like a picture of your car, it calculates what the premium would be. You know, you take a picture of, you know,
fucking incredible.
There's a company called, I think it's just Frank or Frank. So what there is, you know, you're going to go for a ride, you're going to go cycling for like whatever it is, you can insure that ride, as opposed to like paying, all right, cool, there's a bit of a dodgy route, let me just pay 80 Rand for insurance.
But you know what,
for this
because
ride.
our market is so fucking competitive, this is what drives our innovation.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be taking, these are the guys that should be going overseas going, right, motherfuckers, this is how we do it.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think it's largely due, this insurance is such a big driver in our country, eh?
Yeah.
And fintech is great in this country, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've come across amazing companies with fintech, eh? Just like even random things. That's just cool, There's a guy looking for, he wants to buy a cool mountain bike, You can invest in this guy, give him a loan for this mountain bike, It's like, it's got his credit score, everything. You can look at 30% return on funding his kind of mountain bike. There's like cool little products like that as well, that people don't really know. I mean, I've seen Fed Group, this big group of advertising all these invest in like beehives, and I mean, we're really innovative. I mean, Discovery is by far the most innovative insurance company in the world.
Absolutely, and I mean that's why they're doing so well.
Yeah.
So now they've just gone to Hong Kong. If I'm not
Vitality's
mistaken.
a killer.
Yeah, they've just gone to China. Hey.
Yeah, I think China. What's it?
Yeah. I mean, yes, we know they're in the States, we know they're in
everywhere,
the UK, but I mean, China.
Yeah.
Innovative, South African, right?
That Vitality model that takes off in the world,
it's done.
Killer.
I've got to get Adrian Gore on the podcast. I know someone who knows him, right? So we're working on that, right?
Yeah.
I've got to get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because how genius.
Yeah, I know. Jeez.
Look, Discovery is one of those companies, you either love them or you hate them. Simple. But it's the same with banks. It's the same with cell phone providers. My best mate hates Vodacom and my other best mate hates MTN. And I mean, that just sort of is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. I just think that one of the things that we need to do in the country is we need to open up internet. It needs to become more affordable. It needs to become more accessible. That's the kicker. Because it's that little internet connection and a shitty little computer that allows me to start that business.
Yeah.
And right now, it's just not accessible enough.
Yeah.
That's.
So I know quite a lot of big projects that are working on that, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
But even the whole, I don't know, I hate the whole fiber thing. Guys went and ripped up the pavements, installed fiber everywhere, and then there's like 5G's like on the cutting edge of coming out, which is something way faster. You don't have to rip up the pavements. You just put up an antenna and
bam, it's done.
Boom, done. So I mean, I don't want to spend billions on fiber, whereas you can just put up these towers everywhere. So yeah.
I had a guy on the podcast called Ndumisa Hadebe, and he's part of a company called Kumba Africa. I just had to quickly go and look back and look at the details. And they basically running like a localized online directory business, but for like micro enterprises. So the idea is simple. I'm sitting in a township, or no, I'm actually outside, right? So I'm in a village, okay, and my plumbing fucks out for whatever reason, okay. I don't want to bring somebody in from town, but somebody 3 roads down from me does plumbing. And it's this whole idea, and like these types of ideas, like I love them, mate.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I absolutely love them. Maybe I must put you in touch with them, Demiso.
Yeah, great. I mean, it's something like Sweep South. You need a mate. I don't know if you've ever used them.
I've heard of them.
Yes, I've got a Airbnb that I run.
Okay.
So Sweep South, like you never know when a guest is checking in and checking out. So I don't really have like a full-time mate kind of thing. So whenever I know someone's checking in, I use a Sweep South. The mate comes. I know it's completely reliable. If she can't make it, they'll replace it with someone else. It's just like a brilliant concept. And I mean, there's also I think behind that there's a whole lot of data being given.
Sure.
If you ask to like use their stuff, what is it? Unilever will come and leave their new Handy Andy or whatever it is that's coming out. There's always that kind of backplay behind
affiliates,
it.
But who cares?
Yeah.
Dude, isn't Airbnb the fucking funniest business model in the world? Who would have thought?
It's my most stressful business.
Really, eh?
That's awesome, but
who would have thought that would work? Not just, I mean, when you heard of
just
that,
like the logistical challenges.
but when you heard of that business model, okay, I'm going to open up my house,
yeah,
and somebody's going to come, and they're going to stay there, and you're like, that will never work in South Africa. I mean, I get that it'll work overseas, right?
Yeah.
First world country. I get it. I really, really, really get it. Then I heard Airbnb was coming to this country, and I was completely incorrectly like, never going to work. Never, ever in a million fucking years going to work.
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
Working.
I mean, mine's been amazing.
Really, eh?
I don't want to rent my property because I'm doing way better on Airbnb, and the guests are great. I've had guests where I come afterwards to my apartment and I have to like look really careful. I'm like, did someone stay here? Especially there's like IT guys from like India. They'll like on the sheets and clean it. I come out, I see like one little tissue in the dustbin. I'm like, okay, someone did stay here.
Wow. So you reckon, in comparison to normal rental model, monthly, right, long-term rental through a rental management company, you reckon Airbnb, from a profitability point of view,
If you're in the right area.
okay,
So my place
for
is-
you,
My place is dead smack in the middle of Sandton. You know,
Perla.
when people want to stay.
Yes,
When I go to New York, I search Times Square or
of course,
wherever it is.
Johannesburg,
you know.
Sandton.
Guys are searching Sandton.
And now the guys can car train straight in,
Yeah.
bam, stay there.
Car train just around the corner. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So it's cool. You know, that's how it works. I know guys who are like, you know, let's say the cool area, like Melrose Arch. A lot of people don't really know about Melrose Arch. You know, so I know a lot of guys who are struggling to Airbnb over there. You know, like it's really difficult.
It's because it's such a
people don't know
look.
about,
Melrose
yeah.
Arch is beautiful. Make
Yeah,
no
amazing,
mistake.
yeah.
God, I mean, I'd actually love to live there.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because you've got everything, but it's just too far.
Yeah.
It's just outside of.
The tourists just don't really know
Yeah.
about it. Maybe read it up. Yeah, I'll go visit Melrose Arch, but they know Sandton. That's all.
That's what they know.
That's it.
The
yeah.
car train from Johannesburg.
That's it.
Done.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to be very careful on where you pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've pretty much, you know, almost fully automated. Besides the laundry, I just need someone to like innovate.
Innovator laundry.
Just come and sort that out.
Done. Yeah, maybe there's a business model there.
Yeah, it's probably pretty simple.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So everything else is automated though. So
Yeah, pretty much.
what automated services do you use for the management of this?
So for one, it sweeps out.
Yeah, sweeps out.
And then, I mean, in the building, I've got guys on my payroll who let the guests in. And, you know, besides that, there's nothing really else to do. You know, it's just
Airbnb, done and dusted.
Airbnb done and dusted. You know, sweeps out comes and they'll bring in even their stuff to clean or wherever it is, you know. So, yeah, I mean, sweeps out, okay, you know, they'll do these massive promotions and I'll get 50%
But
off
are
or
you
60 Rand to clean.
Are you surprised that Airbnb works?
Yeah, I guess I am.
So
The plan was to do it for a few months until I can find someone to like rent it. You know, I thought maybe I'd get like $2,000 a month renting the place potentially. You know, I mean doing Airbnb, and then before I knew it, it just started picking up, and I was like, maybe I don't need to rent a place. I don't have to deal
maybe I
with
should
all
buy
the
another.
issues.
Yeah, maybe I should buy another flat. Really, because I'm still flabbergasted that it works in this
Yeah.
country.
No. I mean, Cape Town, the guys killing it with it. It's like,
Yeah,
If you're in the
that's
right
the de
area there,
facto. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, guys like it. You know, you got your kitchen, you get the long-term stays, which is great.
Yeah, I'm with
And,
you.
you know, when I went to New York, I went and I upped the price because I didn't want too many people staying there, because I didn't want too much, you know, kind of maintenance to deal with. So I upped the price like significantly, and I still got the same amount of bookings. So I was like,
Leave
what
it
the
at
hell
that?
is happening? So I've literally just left it that. I've got like a better class of guys staying there. It's like cleaner. And
Sure.
I was
God,
just
that
like,
makes perfect
shoot, so
sense,
li-
doesn't
like
it?
it literally doubled the amount that I was earning, and it's the exact same thing. I was like, okay. So I've literally just left it at that. Still exact same occupancy.
Shit.
If not better. Because I mean, if you look at, I mean, my place goes for around, I don't know, 850 a night. So it's not like too much. But when I just started and I wanted people in, I was going for like 450.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, but then I was thinking, geez, if I'm going on a business trip and I'm like 450 now, it's probably like something
Probably
really
dodge.
probably dodgy. But I'm like, you know, 850. That sounds good. You know, a hotel's probably 1200. Yeah, let me stay at this place for 850. So it's whatever. You know, so it turned out to be like the right price point. It was by accident. So that
Fucking
works.
winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, before I think it was definitely way too
But isn't
cheap.
that the same story? And I mean, this is such an old story, and I don't know if it's actually a wives' tale or not. But isn't that the same story with fragrances? Like the guys was trying to sell fragrances, and then they fucking put the profit margins up ridiculously, and all of a sudden they started selling. Because I mean, let's be serious. You
But I
don't
mean,
want to be wearing something that's 100 Rand, right?
Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot of psychology to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Big time,
Yeah.
especially in that market.
Yeah.
And I mean, for somebody like me who, you know, there's certain smells that I absolutely love. Like, I'll tell you, if somebody walks past me, I'll be like, I know what they're wearing. Lots, and not just multiple different sets of things.
Yeah.
I'm very keen to that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty terrible at identifying that stuff, but
Really, eh?
yeah, my wife's like, this is what you're going to.
That's it. Thank you, baby.
She'll walk past and, oh, you smell so nice. I'm like, I don't smell anything, but anyway. That's how that works.
Well, I suppose different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
So, next plans for the business, next plans for you. What do you want to do next 3 or 4 or 5 years?
So we're always looking at, I mean, we're trying to figure out products and how do we turn a product where we have a company who just sets loss and getting it into some kind of cash, you know. We're looking at all different types of things, you know. So I mean, what is it? So Section 12J is one of the products
Talk
that we
about
work
that, please.
Yeah, so Section 12J was a really interesting incentive. It was still is. I mean, it came out in 2009 to encourage high net worth individuals and companies to invest into smaller companies.
Okay.
That was like the whole benefit. So, you know, let's say your marginal tax rate is 40%.
Yeah.
You invest R1 million into the startup. You can get a tax deduction of 40% of the million, so 400,000 Rand of your entire taxable income. So that was like mitigating your risk. So instead of investing $1 million, effectively investing 60 million. So I mean, that was kind of the whole thing, to encourage people to invest into startups. You know, so that was like, it was copied off a UK incentive, which is a similar type of thing. They had 30 to 50%. There's a whole lot of restrictions in what you can invest in. You know, so some of the restrictions was, you know, like immovable property. You couldn't just like invest into like an office to rent out to people, but you could into bed and breakfast or
yes, it has to be. It has to be a business.
Yeah, it has to be like the book value maximum was 50 million at inception. Okay. You know, you couldn't invest into like consulting companies or financial services. I mean, you could invest into like certain fintech type companies, but you know, it's a great incentive. You know, it is a way to try and get VC, but you know, unfortunately, it was abused. There was like a lot of loopholes in it. I mean, the loopholes were great actually, because you know, so there's certain rules where you'd need at least no one could own more than 20% of the fund. So you needed at least 6 investors involved in the fund first. Okay. So, which is like one criteria to hit. But so we had kind of come up with a product where, as opposed to having 6 investors, we can have one investor investing in just the company he wants to invest in, as opposed to investing into a pool of funds that would be run by a fund manager who'd invested into a whole lot of different companies. We're like, you know, this guy really likes, you know, whatever this company is, invest directly into that company, gets his, you know, his tax incentive for investing. And so that was our kind of whole product. And a lot of people, you know, kind of copied the IP. This is an advanced tax ruling, and there was definitely ways of abusing it. You know, I mean, I heard of stories, I don't know if it's true or not, but like guys were, you know, I have a maid staying at my house. It's a bed and breakfast. You know, if I do alterations to my house, you know, because I could ring fence that investment to me. I wanted to, so there was definitely abuse, unfortunately. You know, but like, I still think it's great. So there's been amendments now because of that abuse. So now, so yeah, you can still do a unique share class, but you still need at least 5 people per share class now. So unless you and all your mates want to invest into your maid's room, you know, it's not going to work. You know, so that's kind of one of the things they're working at.
Little
you know,
ties.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
so it's still going, eh? It's still there.
It's still going. It's got a sunset clause till 2021 June, which is when like the last date that you can receive this tax benefit. But maybe they'll extend it, maybe they won't. Yeah. Yes, I mean, that's one of, it was a really great product for us, you know, to have a guy. But so so I mean, we weren't a fund that people put in money and we'd choose it, you know. But so ours was, guy comes to me with a lot of money, wants to invest in this company. Let him get the tax return. Let him get the tax incentive for doing it. You know?
I could agree more. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic both ways.
Yeah, it created a huge amount of job. It came out to like, you know, it's like 125,000 Rand per job investment. That, I mean, every 120,000 Rand was like a new job, which is like a really low amount for like actual like per creating a job. You know, a lot of your standard type things more like 500,000 Rand a job that actually have to spend in these kind of things. So within the other 12J spaces, you know, that weren't using our kind of structure.
Sure.
So it's, I mean, it's still structure that we do. We set it up for people, you know. It's a great product.
It's very interesting. And I mean, off the back of that is this whole idea of the connecting with the VCs. And I mean, you're playing in a very interesting space. Yeah, and I must be honest with you, I love it. I think it's so fascinating. Yeah. And maybe that's the business nerd in me, but so be it. Maybe other people won't. I don't really care. But it's fucking fascinating.
My favorite part of it's connecting the people and meeting companies. If I had to tell you the companies that I've met, you have no idea.
I can only imagine, eh?
I mean, I've met companies, no jokes. So one of them uses camels to charge cell phones. Every time the camel steps, I was like, okay, huge, big market. You know, like it's very awkward when you have those kind of meetings.
Wow.
Yeah. That's brilliant in Mongolia, maybe, you know, or something like that.
Saudi Arabia.
Where they use that. Then I had one other guy, he comes up to me, he's like, you won't, like, Brandon, I have something amazing. You're going to have to sit down and just, like, I'm like, try me, you know, I've seen everything.
I've seen a lot.
Try me, I've pretty much seen everything. So he comes, shows me this like massive blueprint, you know, of like this. I'm like looking at this thing, I'm like, it looks like some kind of independence state type thing. So I'm like, what is this? This is a guy from a free state. So
sure.
Bad start from the go sometimes, you know, when it's tech, free state. And he's like, you won't believe this. I was in my farm, the spaceship lands, these aliens come out, I have this whole chat to them, they come in, and they basically gave me the IP to how they built their spaceship. So this is the blueprints of the spaceship, like, can we get like an incentive from the Department of Science and Technology for this? I'm like, I was like, all right, the DST is looking for something that's a complete world's first,
Sure. And let me ask you, what the fuck were the blueprints like?
It looked like a 12-year-old had kind of drawn it up. There's like scratches, and this uses magnetic force of the earth and weird thing. I think he even tried to register it for a patent or something. I'd love to have seen the discussion with the RP. That would have been amazing. Like, where would they have referred him?
Hey, bro, look. Maybe aliens landed.
Yeah, maybe it's legit, yeah.
Maybe it's legit.
Maybe I messed up there.
That's it. You could have been the next the guy.
Yeah.
Holy shit, eh? So, it's like those types of meetings, eh?
Others you come across also just generally amazing companies that you see,
Can you talk about one of your more successful products or one of your more successful companies? Are you willing to?
So a lot of them I can't really mention
fair enough.
Names and that.
Fair enough. But please, Brandon, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just asking.
I can tell you cool products that are like out there that, let's say, the government have funded, that kind of things. There's a great startup I met them in Cape Town. It's called Custos. So Custos use blockchain technology to combat like piracy. So what they'll do, let's say you're releasing an ebook to a critic.
Yeah.
He may go and leak this thing all over the place.
Sure.
Everyone's got this ebook, it's a PDF.
Yeah, and it's your IP, right?
Yeah, so what they do is they've got technology, they've embedded a Bitcoin, not entire Bitcoin, but amount of Bitcoin into, these ebooks. So every time someone opens it, it registers on the blockchain. And they know exactly who's supposed to have it. And they've actually got a team of, kind of hackers who work for them, who earn a bounty if they pick up this person who's kind of leaked it. And in return, they'll earn their Bitcoin. So, that was like a really great product. I think,
wow.
The Technology Innovation Agency, which is another incentive run through DST, it's a loan that's repayable only out of revenue. So you may take 3 years to develop your product, and they'll give you potentially up to 50 million rand. So it's generally 15 million for tech, but then small scale manufacturing up to 50 million, so really great. It's like
and
no
repayable
surety.
On revenue.
Only a revenue, and there's no surety. So if the product's a flop, you owe them 12 million, converts to grant, and they call it a loss. They do look for like really technologically advanced type products.
Sure. So good products, but that's a fucking good incentive.
Yeah, awesome incentive.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So B is not like a very important requirement. It's gonna become a requirement.
Sure.
It's good. It's always good to have. So, but yeah, there's some great companies. If they just got into Hollywood, those kind of guys, if you just introduced them to someone there, they'd make a killing.
Yeah. Some American VC who's sitting there licking his lips.
It's like patent. It's like, even so, like even, I think they're using it to like confidential documents, even movies. They they'll release a special movie that's like watermarked, so you can't even record it. You can use these VLC media type players and record whatever you watch.
Sure.
They've actually got technology that prevents that. When you record it, it just comes out like black or something. There's really amazing companies in South Africa that just do that. Even in the engineering, I've met companies that have like drones that attach to ships that literally would drive on the ship even while it's going and like take off the barnacles and all that kind of stuff that creates drag for the ship. So this actually reduces the amount of fuel that they use. This like little drone is like a little spider that crawls around and the ship scanning things. Even it goes down through potholes and goes and looks at these kind of like looking for stuff like that. And these are South African companies. This is stuff that you don't know about. You don't. We have companies in Cape Town that literally have stuff in space, like small little space companies. There's quite a few of them. Little space robots. A lot of them are like Stellenbosch spin-off type companies. These little great guys from university come up with this product. And they've commercialized them. I've seen tobacco to cure asthma. These guys are literally using.
Wow.
Even there was a plane flying. It was an SA flight that literally flew off just tobacco leaves that they made fuel for. Like they made fuel using. Like there was like a flight that SA actually did just using tobacco type products. There's some amazing stuff coming out.
But the in the tech space, Cape Town's definitely where it's at.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I also don't get it.
Are there, yeah.
But even AWS right now. So Amazon Web Service, you obviously know.
Yeah,
and where is their headquarters?
Yeah,
Cape Town.
Was what's it, in Gardens area
Yeah,
also. It's
Cape
just
Town.
there, guys are just drinking, having a draw there. But I mean, yeah, it's,
What is it? Why do you think it's Cape Town? Do you have an answer? Have you thought about it?
I don't know, I mean,
I mean, it's not a good or a bad thing. It just is. But I'm interested as to why.
I don't know, maybe these developer guys just dig the beach or something.
Yeah,
I've
it
also
could
just
be.
trying to,
It's a fucking shit beach. No offense, Cape Townians, but I mean, your water's
you know,
cold.
you can't swim in that.
No, you're famous. Fuck off.
It's like that one. It's very beautiful. It's like that one room in your house that you have with like the antique furniture. That
That's it, you
no one
could-
sits.
no
You
one
could look
sits
at but like, and you can swim in Muizenberg.
Yes, that's the best analogy of Cape Town I've ever heard in my life.
My dad flipping AIDS Cape. It's like me, like Muizenberg. You can swim and get showered by a shark.
Yeah,
that kind of thing, but I
fucking
mean,
great.
Yeah, I mean, Cape Town. It's cool, but yeah, it's. I don't know. Almost every blockchain company is
Yeah,
there.
Cape Town.
Every
Tech company, Cape Town.
tech company.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But
Amazon.
to be honest, all the guys have really commercialized good products. It's like the Joburg guys, actually. It's like, you know, they,
Okay, so you're
may
saying-
have a big dev team in Cape Town, but then the sales arm and the biz dev guys and that.
all in
it's, yeah,
Joburg. Yeah.
it's like a lot of that. But I'm also seeing a lot shifting towards using India developers
Yes,
and
yes.
outsourcing it there.
So
It's
I
a
have
lot
a-
cheaper.
I literally have a client of mine right now. He's come to me and said, right, let's talk. I need to dev. He says, can you help me? And I was like, whoa, okay, hold on. I went and spoke to a couple of mates I know, and they're all turning around going, India's the route.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. I was like, but how? And they explained to me the business model. I was like, okay, right, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. So we need to start looking at this route. But I completely
And-
agree with what you're saying now.
Because I mean, I see a lot. I mean, one of the R&D tax incentive only applies to spend that's done in SA. So I meet a company doing mad R&D, and then it's like, oh, where's your dev team? And they'll be in like Mumbai. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
we can't apply for it.
yeah,
You know, so it's
yeah. But I mean, do you
it's
know
an
of, and
issue.
I'd love to know, do you know of any good, cost-effective development teams here in South Africa that you can actually go to that, because, God, the costs are ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I do know some great. I know some great guys in Cape Town actually.
Okay?
Yeah, I know some really good guys who like work fast, good, hard, awesome dudes. I actually met them on a recent trip now. They're great.
Okay.
A lot of cool prototype companies that, you know, I like.
'Cause at the end-
I like test them. This company said to me that they have a problem that they have to like. They've got so many different gloves. I think they make the gloves for like Netcare, and they have to like unpack them. It takes forever. So like these guys came out with like a prototype to like automate that. You know, it was like interesting. You know, even that kind of space.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, this is
Because, I mean, if I had the choice, I would just use South Africa.
yeah,
I don't want to go overseas.
yeah,
I mean, I get why the business model works, but I'd rather be here.
yeah,
I'd much rather be here.
yeah. You don't know what they're doing with your IP and what they're doing with the software, and are they
Sure.
copying it? And
And yes, there's that, but there's also the I'm proudly South African, right?
yeah,
I mean, ergo the podcast.
yeah,
Okay. Maybe at some stage it'll change. Maybe I get a Jordan Peterson or I get a Joe Rogan, or you know what I mean? Like, I'll make the exception.
yeah.
Okay. Obviously. But for now, dude, it's just been South Africans, man, because we're always looking outwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I love this conversation. I love what you're telling me about what these South African guys are doing, because in my sport, in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu space, you know, we're always looking overseas and we're like, oh my God, this God and that God and this guy's amazing and that guy's amazing. And then you're like, yeah, but you know what, dude, we're not too bad ourselves. And I think it's the same way in the business space. You know, we're always looking everywhere else and going, you know, they're amazing. And I love what I'm hearing. I love the fact that there's this innovation happening in our company, in
Yeah.
our country,
Yeah.
because we're fucking amazing. South Africans are fucking amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I had a chat to Stephen Kossoff about, you know, SA, like, what do you think of it? And he's still like of the concept. He's like, you know, Brandon, it's still easier to make, what's the rand today? I don't know, 16 rand than it is to make $1. You know, it's like, you know, so, I mean, that's like kind of their kind of concept.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, there's definitely, you know, if I had to move to America and try to start a company, like,
It's all been
if
done.
I want to, I can get hold of Adrian Gore in SA. You know,
Okay.
I'll know someone who'll know someone who'll put me on to.
Sure.
Whereas I go to America and I want to try to get in touch of
No.
Elon Musk. I'm going,
No, not going to
there's
happen.
Not a chance.
Not going to
I know,
happen.
like, we're a global company, especially Varsity, and I know they deal with America, and it's like, they tell me it's like a whole different ballgame. You know,
Yeah.
just to try to speak to like the fund manager, it's like impossible. It's like, you know, it's different.
It's the one thing that scares me about leaving South Africa is my network.
Yeah.
You know, I've spent my whole life cultivating that network,
Yeah.
and it's valuable.
Yeah.
It's valuable to
Huge.
whatever degree. I mean, you know, whether it be the podcasting or the jiu-jitsu or the business or whatever, but it's valuable. People don't understand how valuable it is,
Yeah.
right? They really don't.
Until you go overseas.
And
you
then
have
there's
to-
nothing.
You have to try to sell something and you
Yeah.
go like
On a door.
pitch up at a venture capital company or whatever
Yeah.
it is and be like,
Yeah.
"Hi, I'm Brandon from South Africa. Studied at Wits. They're like, what is Wits? And, you know, like it's just that kind of.
So true, eh?
It's a different book. I mean, you got to do something successful and take it there. You know, like it's like Vinnie Lingham and those kind of guys. Man. His tech's all developed here, most of it. Yeah,
Really, eh?
great.
Yeah.
Cape Town is it's called Nona Creative, Nona Digital, brilliant company.
Yeah.
Some great blockchain companies.
Yeah, they are
Just
absolutely are.
Trust Lab. I mean, there's a company called Trust Lab that literally, like, you know, what that is, they can kind of. There's a big issue when it comes to charity. Where does your charity go? You know, it's going to a foundation. You know, there's all the big payroll and salaries, and so they can literally like track and monitor where the spend is going. You know, they'll literally have someone who's, you know, sitting at the school where people are getting funded, and they'll tick yes, all right, cool. The student has received that funding. It's using cool blockchain technology. They've got a project with Madagascar where people are sending, you know, money to fund some kind of monkeys or whatever it is, you know, in Madagascar.
Okay.
You know, they can actually monitor, and people can look on the dashboard, see where the money's been spent, completely track exactly where it is. Just there's none of this leaky bucket kind of syndrome.
And they're called Trust Lab.
Trust Lab. Yeah, there's another company as well. I mean, I think now
I like that. I want to have them on the podcast.
yeah, they're cool. You know,
That's
speak to-
flipping
yeah.
cool.
Sean Conway, brilliant genius guy. He's actually a doctor. Got into
Dude,
this.
what a great concept.
Yeah, I mean that's like a neat. I mean, I come across so many blockchain companies, and I'm like, barely any of them have commercialized. I mean, literally, I don't know. Probably Trust Lab. That's like almost one of the only ones I know, and maybe, you know, Vinnie Lingham's companies, Civic, those kind of guys. But I mean, otherwise, they're all just like kind of working and just hoping that something will kind of come up. You know, so. It's a tough game. It's
a tough game.
blockchain's like, yeah, that's also like maybe an industry that's too early. You know, I don't know.
Especially in South Africa.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like blockchain, and I'm like, what do you know about it? And they're like, fuck all.
Yeah.
Literally, that's the conversation. Oh no, no, it's Bitcoin.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I thought I knew a lot about blockchain until I had conversations with guys who really know a lot about it.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, I don't know, for Zan, he was like working at R&B as their head blockchain developer, but now he's branched off to his own company, and he was like speaking to this other blockchain guy, and I was like sitting there like trying to like say, I don't know what the hell they were talking about, and I was like,
Really?
yeah, it's good, eh?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, I speak to like mates, and I like sound like a genius when I talk about blockchain.
Sure.
But that was like, you know,
In
the Premier
comparison.
League, you know, this was. So yeah, I mean, there's some amazing guys that do
I'm
it,
with you,
so.
but it's interesting now. I mean, we talk about how ahead of the market we are in certain things, but there are definitely other things where we're behind the market.
Yeah.
You know, most South Africans didn't hear about Bitcoin until it, you know, and by the time we heard about it, it's because it was at its highest,
Yeah.
and everybody bought in, and then it fucking went down, right?
Yeah.
Just recently. But I mean, the guys who actually made money had heard about it years ago.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely years ago. I mean, it's ridiculous. When I looked at blockchain, if I had bought at that stage, it's ridiculous how
I
much money I
can
would
tell
have
you
made.
a story about me.
Don't tell me a tragic
Sorry.
story about a $10,000.
Tragic story.
Okay, come tell me.
I'm one of those dudes.
Tell
man.
me, what did you do?
One of those dudes.
Did
Yes.
you buy a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin?
So Luno didn't exist back
Okay,
then.
yeah.
You know, this was
Sure.
that early kind of days.
Yeah, because that's why.
But-
Do you know why I didn't buy it? I didn't know fucking how to.
Yeah, you don't know how to. It
It was so hard. Okay, what did you do?
was literally, I think it's 2012.
Okay.
I think a Bitcoin was like, I don't know, 20 cents. I didn't even think it had a value. You know, I was just like, I saw like an article and this kind of stuff. I thought it sounded cool. I was into investing. Let me just like punt like $3,000 into it. You know, at that stage, $3,000 was like a shitload of Bitcoin.
Holy shit.
So eventually it like started going up a little bit, you know, and then it got to like, I don't know, it's probably worth like 40 grand's worth or something. You know, I was pretty young then, you know, and so I was like, you know, 40 grand, it was just, then it was idle for like a
Sure,
year and a half.
40
2
grand's a lot
years.
of money. I mean,
40
it's
grand's a lot of money. I thought this stuff's not going anywhere. Let me
Yeah.
just try to sell this stuff. So I sold a lot of it, like 95% of it. Went to Thailand, had an awesome trip.
Okay.
Had I kept that, just, it was a huge, it was definitely worth more than 10 million rand in today's money. It was,
Really?
yeah, it was a lot of Bitcoin.
Fuck.
So, and
10
to
million?
remind, so I actually posted on Facebook that does anyone know anything about these things, Bitcoins? And I was like hoping someone, and so I posted that. There was no comments, but anyway, like
No comments.
You know when Facebook comes up with those reminders
Yeah.
5 years ago, flipping popped up the other day, like 8 years ago today you published this. I'm like, why did not one of my mates say hold
Fucking
that shit?
just
Or,
keep it, yeah.
yeah, that thing, I took a screenshot of it. I'll send it to you. So annoying.
Oh my God, that is so ridiculous. Eh? You'll do that because I'll put it on the Thought Labs website.
Yeah.
Post the conversation, right? Because I think that, look, at least it's not 10,000 for pizza,
Yeah.
but it is 10 million for a trip to
Yeah, no.
Thailand.
It was a good trip to Thailand, but yeah,
It's not 10
I'd
million.
take the 10 million.
Fuck.
But you know, the guys are still making good money in the mining rig industry around it still. If you can get electricity at the right price, I mean, I was crunching the numbers the other day with some guys, you know, and it was, you know, they were paying like $3,500 or whatever it is for one of these ant miners, whatever it is that they call it, you know. It generates 1,500 rand a month, basically. So 3.5 grand, 1,500 rand a month, 1,000 rands electricity. So in 3.5 grand, you're making 500 rand a month. I mean, that pays itself off in like 7 months.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's solid. I mean, and these guys, they're really smart guys I work with, you know, because what they do is, you know, if, you know, maybe Bitcoin dies, let's say worst case scenario, blockchain dies, they mine Ethereum and
Yes.
a whole lot of different things as well. But if all of them died, they still have the processing power. We're not using the ant miners, but using other NVIDIA type chips or AMD type chips that can be used for machine learning, which is a huge industry in itself, you know, machine.
Yeah.
So it's like very diversified. So if anything happened, like the risk of them completely
It's actually
busting
quite
out is
low.
actually pretty good. You're going to get your money out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like
I
a
know.
really cool
I'm
investment.
in Bitcoin, so I've got.
Okay,
I've
yeah,
got
you mining stuff.
I don't have my
you're
own miner.
mining.
I've got a cloud miner.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm.
I should put you in touch with the guys. These guys are
Yeah.
genius.
But then I've got access to a forex fund, right? That I've
Yeah.
just invested in, which the average return per annum is 42%.
Yeah, well, it's great. Yeah, the tech stocks.
42. Okay, 20% capital
I've had
gains
the
tax,
same, yeah,
but 42%. But the great thing is, it's all offshore.
yeah.
So
You got the
my
rand, you
idea,
got-
my idea is not to pull anything from that.
Yeah.
Literally to just let it grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And one day I can be a pensioner, and then there's 0%.
Yeah.
And just let it grow. And if I go overseas, I
I've got
can.
the exact same tactic.
That's it. I can go to Mauritius right now, and I can draw it there, and then I'm subject to their tax laws. Right, 42% per annum.
Did you pick your own kind of stocks, or you
Nope.
just like an index fund type thing?
No, I just fucking invest with them.
Nasdaq index fund or whatever. it is.
Bam, and they do like micro trades. Okay, so their goal is to do tiny little bit of micro trade increases every single day, and that gets to your 3.2% per month, which is
Take it for
fucking
sure.
brilliant.
Yeah.
In comparison to a bank, which gives you 8%. So I'm making in 3 months, I'm making what most people make at the bank.
Yeah.
Right, and the average is 42. The year before it was higher, but they
And it's in US stocks. Like,
it's just
Something,
forex
yeah.
trading.
right?
Right?
Just forex trading.
Just
no, not
forex
stocks,
trading.
Okay, yeah.
And so the prediction for the end of this year is 42, and they bang on track for around about there.
Yeah.
Fucking winning.
Yeah.
Winning.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Something
get. I was gonna get
yeah.
more money to put that in there, right? Fucking shove money in there, right? And look, there's risk. Of course, there's risk.
So yeah, so I mean, I invest pretty much my entire portfolio is offshore because, funny enough, I understand overseas technologies more than I would. I mean, everyone knows Amazon, and like I don't know how, you know, I mean Naspers or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I know products I use. So, like, you know, even during, you know, the Bitcoin kind of when it was going crazy, I was always kind of one of those investors when there's a gold rush, you invest into like the shovels, you know. So
Yes.
I went and punted a whole lot into like NVIDIA and AMD, and those shares were up year on year like 200% odd, you know.
Brilliant.
So that was kind of my whole approach. Right?
So
Past 2 weeks, it's like tanked at least, I don't know, 10-15%, whatever it is, but still,
ouch. But you
the
still
returns
up.
are still amazing.
Yeah, you're still up. So I'm always of the idea that and please advise me if I'm wrong, you know, and I'd love your advice. So I like this fund, and it's a good fund, and that's fantastic. But I'm always of the opinion that cyclically we go through these cycles, you know, and
Yeah.
I think it's an 8-year sort of cycle that we play with. Sometimes it's not, but okay. At least in my 10-year projections, I'm working on an 8-year cycle. My 10, 20, 30-year projections, I'm working on that sort of 8-year cycle. And then I halve it even more, and I go, okay, you know, maybe it's a 4-year cycle, so I go 42, 42, 21, 21, you know, and so I play the game, and then that's more realistic to me because I'm realistic.
Yeah.
But I reckon that we should be in bullion for when the market goes down, gold goes up.
Yeah.
Something like Gold One. I mean, oh God, what's his name? Now I'm going to forget his name. Damn it. American investor. And I mean, he's come out with this, you literally get a credit card and it's gold bullion, but you can also use it as a credit card.
Really, yeah.
And what are your thoughts on that?
That's interesting. I mean, I've spoken to some, I don't know, some really smart guys around, you know, because I was just looking, let me put a bit into gold in case, like, and they kind of said to me, you know, gold's not really going to make money. Rather invest into like a really solid gold mining company or something like that. So that was like their advice to me.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't invested in gold at this stage.
No,
you know,
neither have I. It's just what I'm thinking. That's the right thing to do. You know, I mean, when currencies go down, gold goes up.
Yeah, the markets are scary at the moment. I don't know what's going to.
Everybody goes to something that's tangible. God knows why gold is tangible.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's actually quite a fucking ridiculous thing.
So there's like not much to it.
You know, no, there's not much to it, and it's a little bit of processors, and I mean, like, in a little bit of computers and a little bit of cell phones. It's not like
it's not this amazing product.
No, but it's always been there though.
Yeah.
Gold and silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Some very cool shit out there, man.
I mean, had I invested at that time when that guy told me, I would have lost so much. And I don't know.
No. So now had I invested in gold when I wanted to, and I was talked out of investing in gold, and I wanted bullion, that was my idea. I wanted to hold that fucking gold in my hand. Not a piece of paper stock. You must fuck off. I want the gold. Yeah. Right? And I would have made an absolute fucking killing.
Yeah.
But this was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's when I would have invested at, I think it was between 350 and 400 Rand.
Jeez.
So I would have won.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's too late now. But then, would I not be saying that in 15 years from now? Like, you know, when I did that podcast, I should have. Hey?
It's the same thing. You'd be like, oh, shit. Had I invested into Amazon at
yeah.
this price?
Yeah. Always, eh? Yeah, I mean, like, hindsight is foresight, isn't it?
Man, I wish I could tell the future, eh?
Yeah. Or go back in time.
Yeah.
Google. We'll put some stock there. Yeah. Coca-Cola, we'll put some stock there. Yeah.
That'll be amazing.
Oh, well, anyway. Listen, dude, it's been such an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. I've loved your ideas. I've loved talking to you. If anybody is interested, because, I mean, and pick your medium carefully, right? But if anybody is interested in getting hold of you, obviously you're on LinkedIn, Brandon Katz. That's BRANDON KATZ.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best places to
LinkedIn,
contact me, yeah.
Is that the best route, eh?
Yeah, I mean, my email address is pretty cool. It's brandonk@catalystsolutions.co.za.
And you don't mind guys emailing you?
No, I don't mind them emailing me.
And you're not on Facebook? Or are you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah, everyone's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram, you can follow my dog.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's just pictures of my
dog.
Listen,
last thing we have to discuss just before we end off.
Yeah.
You used to write a blog.
Yeah.
And what was that blog called?
Clapping Investments.
Clapping Investments. Where your aim was to go out there and bullshit the bullshit investments. Or at least bullshit the bullshit investments that you saw were bullshit.
Pretty much, you know, a lot of the financial advisory kind of sector kind of really annoyed me, you know, guys offering shitty advice, as well as guys not even understanding what the hell these investments are, and like, even should I invest in a tax-free investment at the moment? You know, guys are putting in cash into a tax-free investment where they have no other investments. You only really should be investing in a tax-free investment once you've hit that like 300k kind of mark in your money market, where you actually, you know, going to be subject to tax. You know, just like little simple things, and you know, or just like looking at, you know, potential massive fees that the, you know, advisors are slapping on these things. Like, guys will be like, listen, I'm going to give you a good deal. I'm going to charge you like 0% upfront and like 3% annually or 2%. Whereas that like 2% annually is huge. I mean, it's 2% a year. It's like equivalent to them charging like 30% upfront if you look at it.
Sure,
you know,
in the long run.
Term, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's all about explaining to them the products and like, you know, and it was in like a tongue-in-cheek kind of way. So, so guys really dig it.
And you said to me at one point you had like 26,000 downloads, or views.
I was getting a lot of views, you know. It's still
Why did you stop?
Because I'm an idiot. I think I just need to get.
I think you, dude.
It takes a lot of work to do a blog. You know,
sure.
You've always got to think of new content. It
takes a lot of work to do podcasts.
Yeah, even more so, man.
No,
you've got to find guys and talk to them.
But I love it, dude. And if it had such traction, man, you've kicked a gift horse in the mouth, man. And I'm not for 1 second discounting the amount of work that goes into it, but I urge you, bro, I will be on there, right? I will be fucking punting you and sharing that shit because I love the idea of that.
Yeah.
And I think South Africa resonates with that idea.
Yeah,
because we
need to link it to the stuff as well that I'm doing now. So I think, it's definitely something worthwhile, you know.
Absolutely.
And I used to use it, you know, it was like, it was written like a main oak, you know. It was
Okay,
written
okay, like a
like,
okay.
but you need to invest in this if your check is, you know, it was that kind of, it was like that kind of writing, you know.
No way.
So, yeah, my demographics were like, you know, 25 to 35 year olds, kind of, you know.
Do you mean the guys who actually need it?
The guys who are looking at it.
Yeah, the guys who actually need it.
Yeah.
Dude, will you do me a favor? Please, will you send me a sample?
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
And what I'm going to do is,
I think there's still the Facebook page still going, and I think it's still got a few articles there.
okay, I'll link it to the Facebook. Send me the Facebook page, please. Or we'll after this we'll chat, and then when we do the media release for the podcast, right? We'll link it up, and we'll link up an article so the guys can go and check it out. I think it's absolutely amazing. I hope a lot of the guys that listen to this get hold of you and be like, please start it again, and maybe we revive that same page. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I
And
get guys.
how many
like,
followers do you have on that
where's your
page?
post? I mean, it's probably like died down now. I don't know how many followers there were, but I mean, I can get them up again a lot. You know, there's definitely a market for it.
Definitely a market for
was
it.
cool. I mean,
Definitely.
Like, yeah, my friend was like a marketing director, you know, like a big investment
What was it
firm.
called? What was the page called?
Clapping Investments.
KLA
PPING.
PPING. Clapping.
So have you ever read those like one...
Dude, this is all sounding very familiar.
There's an article like guys read it. It's called like Slick Tug, whatever. Like these guys kind of made a mockery of
with the fist.
Hey, yeah, like it's almost like that kind of tongue-in-cheek type of like, you know, writing, you know. But the guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed writing it as well. But
It was just
you know, it's just yeah.
Clapping Investments.
Are there still articles posted on there?
485 people like this. Oh, Brandon at stabilityrisk.co.za.
Yeah, I need to
you
change
need
the
to
email
fucking
addresses.
update this shit, dude.
Yeah,
and you need to
change
update
a
this.
whole lot of stuff there.
That's it. And I think we need to do a little bit of an update on the
logo.
on the logo and
I
the
actually
branding.
like that logo. It's like it's
Offshore
like,
account
it's
like a
useless.
boss. No, keep the logo.
So that is the kind
Fuck
of
it. Keep the logo.
I like a
Keep the
bullshit
logo.
shitty logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want that logo? Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe
I
on
don't
the
want it too
knuckles you can
advanced.
tattoo NBS, NBSI, no bullshit investing.
Yeah. You know,
Fucking love it.
I mean, yeah, I'll get lynched by a couple of financial advisors or whatever, but
As long as the investment information is sound,
yeah,
and as long as it's backed up by facts,
yeah,
what the fuck are they going to say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're out there advising guys to go and invest in bullshit stocks, different story,
Yeah.
right? Because as you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to be an advisor.
Yeah,
You
you
know
need
this, and I know
licenses
this,
and yeah.
right? And licenses. But if you're calling bullshit on something, fuck yeah, I'm so in for that.
yeah.
I love that.
No, I went hard at it. Yeah,
I think you should, dude. I think you should bring it back.
yeah. You should have a read on some of them. I hope they're still linked and work.
Well, I'm gonna
wonder-
like this right the fuck
I
now.
mean, I know I did
Bam,
I
like.
did it like a WordPress theme. I hope it's like. I don't even know if I renewed that.
485 people like it right now. Because that
It
just
used-
happened.
It used to be a
dude.
lot. It used to
Yeah.
be,
But well, you were saying to me, 26,000 people used to read
yeah,
it.
it's like the views. Yeah, it was.
That's dude. That is ridiculous reach.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of Instagram models that would pay a lot of money and get a lot of boob jobs if they had 26,000 people looking at their.
Yeah, I know. That's but yeah, but not too late. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna kick that off again.
I think so, dude. I think
It's
it's
great.
amazing. I love the idea. Pick it up, and if it takes another year or two for traction,
Yeah.
and I think there's a lot of synergy.
Maybe I rebranded even. Not just clapping investments, clapping a bit of everything. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Clapping finance, and then it can be.
Yeah, you name it.
Yeah. I like it, dude. I love it. And I think there's a lot of synergies with your current business.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that a lot. And
Yeah.
I'll be your biggest protagonist. I'll be out there fucking, yeah, clapping it, bud.
Awesome. Have a
Lovely.
read through. I think they're funny. I don't know.
Okay, I
I'm
definitely,
very biased, but
sure.
I thought that.
But if 26,000 people were reading it,
yeah,
then you're onto something there, dude.
yeah.
So we got to hit it, right?
Yeah.
The Jewish boy from like Glen
Yes, okay.
Hazel tuning, clapping it, but
I used to get so many emails from it. Actually,
really,
yeah.
I
Like
love it,
asking me
dude.
for investment advice and
yeah, no, don't do it.
yeah.
But I'll tell you how to clap it, but lovely. Mr. Katz, dude, what a pleasure. I've loved having you on the podcast. I've loved the information. What a great time, dude. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Huntley.
Cool,
This is
guys.
awesome.
All right, man. So long and thanks for the fish. Ciao. All right, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that podcast as much as I did. It was such a pleasure to have somebody with such a rich knowledge and background in business, entrepreneurship, and grants in the studio. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I really hope you guys do as well. As always, this episode of the show is brought to you by Jared Smith, who's my main equipment sponsor and sound engineer. And he's doing some really, really interesting stuff in the world of videography, so go check him out. And that's Jared, Jaryd Smith. You can check him out on YouTube, or you can check him out on Facebook. And thanks to Teletrack, as always, for hooking me up with the studio space. It was so good to be back in studio. And if you want to get your bet on, you can do so by checking them out at www.teletrack.com. That's TELLYTRACK.com. So guys, until the next time, over. Thank you so much. Ciao.